All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are back to play Call of Cthulhu today. We are playing some Eternal Lies, continuing our campaign. I have some great news for everybody. The circus is in town, apparently. Melissa decided 45 seconds ago that she wants to go to the circus in Arkham in mid-January. So, hey, you know, maybe they got snowed in. Maybe it was an early snow and they just couldn't get all the animals out. We'll see. When they do like the jump down into the tiny little bucket of water, it's just a frozen ice cube and someone just snaps their neck or something. Is that what you want, Melissa? Is that what you want? Violence?
No.
Well, that's what's going to happen. So, you know what I realized as we were going live? I didn't write up a summary for today. Whoopsie. I was doing something else. I was working on a different project today. You guys might see it. We'll see.
What was it? What was it?
I don't know. A new kitchen. I'm installing new cabinets. I'm not doing that.
New car.
It's a new car. Yeah. Well, we actually are going to probably have to get Melissa a car later this year because her car sucks right now.
Oh, no, that's
pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
It does. It does.
But we're not here to talk about Melissa's vehicle. We're here to talk about Eternal Lies. So, you guys ready to go? Ready to start up? We're still in Arkham. So let's let's freeform a summary. So last time around, we started in Bangkok. Last time around, you had woke up after you all reunited, got off Kokruk Island. You took Ravi and Ankana with you. You got back to the Trocadero Hotel. You finally got some rest. And then during that time, you made some plans. And part of that plan was to have Patrick and Will go back to the island, unbeknownst to Shyma and the others, set fire to the library. Took some books with you, at least. You actually grabbed a few. But in the process of doing so, Will nearly died. Do y'all remember that? How he's like, oh, yeah, I got track. I can roll track. And then he sucks. His roll sucks ass. And then,
no big deal.
It was so bad.
I stubbed my toe and died.
Yeah. He probably should have died, but you know, he's probably because he should have died really quickly because they had to roll a contest, but Patrick came and saved him. So, but I thought that was hilarious. That was hilarious, right? We all had a good laugh with that.
We did.
So,
I forgot we could spend luck to save ourselves in Pulp Cthulhu, and I was already mourning my character that only lasted a single location.
Yeah, it's funny because you did end up spending doing the big. I think it was 32 points you ended up spending. Is that what it was? You just over 30. So you started today's session out of luck. Did you roll for your luck? Did you get any luck back?
Yeah, I got 17 luck back. So
well, look at you.
Almost there.
Nice.
Look out!
Nice.
Don't go to any libraries. You never know what's going to happen. Be careful. You don't have enough luck, but you also have a major
circus is town. That seems pretty safe.
The circus is
afraid of
very
books
safe
now.
Oh,
you're gonna drop a book on your broken toe.
So you all made some plans. You tested out a theory to try to calcify the mouths. One of the mouths on Ankana, your Siamese friend. And although putting the rosaries seemed to make it kind of sick and it spit it out, it didn't really seem to calcify the way that you had heard the story about in Los Angeles from the gardener that you had met. She agreed to come with you. Ravi seemed to be a broken woman. She didn't know anybody. Her family was gone. And so she just kind of seems to be coming along for the ride. You all eventually returned to Arkham. I did that every chance. I called Arkham Bangkok last week.
Yeah.
You guys returned to Arkham. You sort of scattered a bit, and we got a little loose with the time, but everyone kind of went their separate ways. Shyma needed a place to crash, talked to Frank, ended up finding a way to make the hangar, which is where Walter Winston used to spend a lot of his time, making it her kind of crash pad for a bit as she didn't want to go home. She didn't want to go back to her dorm. Eventually, we did see Shyma go back and speak with her dad and had kind of an intense exchange where it was revealed that Shyma's mom is actually dead and has been dead for some time. Died in you said a car accident, I think it was.
That's right. Gosh.
And this was something that Shyma hadn't realized. It kind of shocked her father. And the two of them sort of split and she just ran away. He tried to follow up, then slipped and fell on some ice. And then, we haven't gone back. We also got a peek at Will for some happy times as he befriended both Ankana and Ravi, grandmother Ravi, by bringing them a late Christmas. He brought like a really poorly cooked ham and some crappy gifts or whatever, and they had some Three's Company style of Christmas in the middle of January. So that was kind of nice. We checked in with Marie, and Marie, you went and visited your friend Nancy, who seemed to be a little bit off. She little like kind of leaning a little heavily into the booze. The two of you went out for a nightcap. You went out to a nightclub at one point, and then you discovered that she was actually on nectar. She had some vials of nectar in her bag. When you kind of confronted her about where they were from, she mentioned something about down by Water Street in Arkham, and then she ran away. We checked in with Patrick. Patrick, you went to your barbershop, and when you went in there, you saw Jack Fisner was the barber, and he was working on Patrick on Peter, and he wasn't cutting his hair; he was cutting off his fingers. And so you charged in, you tackled him to the ground, but you realized too late that you were just hallucinating. And Jack Pisner was in fact your friend Peter, and you had tackled him to the ground while he was working on a customer, and now that was kind of an awkward moment. Then we also, sadly, checked in on Bev. Bev, you got called into Miskatonic University as it looked as though they were trying to hurry a hearing against you. Maybe they knew you were out of town. They were trying to do it while you were gone, whatever it might be. But you went to Miskatonic University. You sat before President Edmonds. He presented this case of evidence suggesting that you've been negligent and reckless in your position as a tenured track professor at Miskatonic University, citing the death of a former student, the near death of a current student, and some of the testimony of one of your other students in a previous expedition to sort of support that fact, the letters from the family of the deceased student, and then a letter from Shyma's father questioning why you are allowed to kind of keep an eye on her, considering your history and how Shyma's been coming back from these visits, these trips that you go on, in worse and worse condition. And so ultimately you got fired, and then some other things too, including some like photos when you were in LA and things like that as well.
With Ed, yeah.
And then you were summarily fired, or at least let go, or at least, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it was a smear campaign, some would say.
Is it though? It can be both things. If you put a smear campaign, and probably pretty accurate. So let's pick up in that moment, I think. So we're going to pick up as the conference room clears. And we see people kind of get up, the various trustees, Professor Edmonds, President Edmonds kind of shakes hands with a few of them. They all kind of file out. And what we see is Bev at the end of this, this long conference table. It's beautiful mahogany, it's glistening, it's lacquered, etc. We see your colleague, Folly, your friend, who is sitting next to you. Or what is Bev thinking or doing in this particular moment as the news breaks, as like this is kind of starting to hit her that she's just kind of lost her position here?
That's definitely registering, but I think she's had time to kind of mourn that ahead of time. She anticipated that this decision was going to come, and then as the testimonies and such were being read against her, she just has kind of realized, like, okay, this is definitely something that people have set forth to do against me. She is a little stunned and caught off guard, though, because she heard testimony from the letter of Shyma's father that his wife has been dead. And for every interaction that she's had with Shyma has always talked about her mom lovingly, fondly, and as if she has been alive. So she's concerned about whether someone's lying about whether Shyma's mom is dead, or if this is actually something maybe an issue with Shyma. So that's definitely, it's getting added to her table of things that she needs to check out and research and get to the truth of. And she doesn't want to give them the satisfaction of being upset in their presence. So she will calmly collect her things. And then she'll meet up with Fali, she'll thank Lanfear for coming in his testimony, and quietly offer her research services in a contract aspect, since she's no longer with the...
Yeah, he says, like, as everyone goes, maybe as you're like leaving the conference hall, like he'll flag you down in the hall, and he'll be like, Dr. Key, Dr. Key, and he's you see him again, tall, imposing man, African American, bald head, 3-piece. He's got this vest that goes almost all the way up to his neck, and he says, "Oh, I apologize that my influence was not sufficient to sway the trustees and President Edmonds from this action. I was wondering if I could speak with you for a moment."
Of course.
And he looks at if Folly's with you, and he kind of looks at Folly and kind of assesses them, and then kind of shakes his head, and then he hands over to you like a satchel, and you can see that there's there's books and such inside of it. You open them up. Miss Oberon and I had an arrangement that I would put in a recommendation on your behalf in exchange for her delivering some books from your excursions. And he says it in a way that you kind of get the feeling he knows there's more to what you're doing than maybe what you're actually sharing with the university. And he says, I was wondering if, as you said, you would be interested in perhaps a position of sorts. As you know, the Orn Library, we have our own funding, separate from the university itself. And so Dr. Edmonds, as much as he would like to think he has control over Orn, we do have, thankful to my mentor, Mr. Armitage, we do have a certain amount of autonomy in who it is that we hire. Now, I can't offer you a position with any long-term stability, but we are always working with freelance curators and collectors. And if you were to continue on your excursions and you were to come across any interesting finds, the Orn Library would be very happy to pay you for it.
With my background in archaeology and anthropology, I certainly would hope I could be an asset for you in this and freelance for you.
Oh, excellent. I feel it is only right to return these to Miss Oberon. I sought her at her dormitory, but I've been told that she's not returned there in some time. And when I contacted her father, he was also unaware of her whereabouts. He seems quite concerned. I hope that you know how to contact her.
I haven't been in contact with her, but I will reach out and see if I can find out where she is.
I see. Well, I will not take any more of your time, but I will say that as a curator and as a contractual employee of the library, you of course have free range of our archives. There's nothing Dr. Edmonds can say or do about who I choose to let in our walls and doors. So you and your expedition team are welcome. And if I could be of any assistance to you, please do not hesitate to call upon me.
I do have a lot of information to go through, and then if I do have any questions, I will reach out and use you as a resource, if that's okay.
Absolutely. And again, I'm very sorry for this result. And please pass along my best tidings to Miss Oberon and ensure her that when she is ready to resume her studies, my office remains, as always, where she found it before.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
And he, at that point, kind of reaches out, kind of shakes your hand, Father, Professor Lee. And then you see turns around, he strolls away, and he just casts this huge shadow. He's such a sort of tall man. Okay. So we fade out of that, we'll say, as Bev kind of goes to take care of some business.
Things. Yeah.
Clean out her office, all that sort of stuff. Who do we want to check in with next? Anybody wants to volunteer? Can we just? We're just gonna do the circus thing. We just want to let's just get this out of the way. Let's just get that out of the way.
I think we're all kind of excited for it. Yeah.
I want this to turn into the '90s family movie where you just inherit an elephant and then you've got to return it home.
And it's just a bottle episode.
That's her new animal companion. I want it to be her new animal companion, and we see the silver that's flying all over the place, just carrying it underneath. It's like Operation Dumbo Drop. That's all it is.
Yes, exactly.
Marie, the last we saw of you, Nancy had raced off on the dark streets of Arkham. What do you think Marie's next steps would have been after that?
So Marie will keep this information in mind. You said it was Water Street was where
Water
she
Street.
said?
Yeah, which is a very lengthy road. There's a lot of places along Water Street, and there's a lot of industry along Water Street, and it's right against the river as well. But there are some places where there's more kind of local markets, diners. There's some abandoned mills and such as well at this time. So it's kind of a long stretch. You guys should have a map, I think, on there, but I can drop another one if you wanted to zoom in better. But you can see where it is. It's an actual street.
Yeah. So I would say that that's something that she would, once some other folks. Oh yeah, I looked at Water Street last time. Once some of her companions are a little better healed. It seems like something that we should probably do some looking at Water Street, doing some stakeouts, looking with our eyes, watching what's going on Water Street for some nectar stuff.
Okay.
So something that she is kind of concerned about is how easily we were spotted in Bangkok and how quickly things went awry because we were known. So people knew who we are, know what we look like, all of those kinds of things. And so, Bev had to dye her hair blonde, and kind of this is weighing on her, that the places that they go, people seem to know about them. And so she wants to kind of get herself back into kind of practice with some things that she's done before with makeup and wigs and all of those kinds of things for her performances.
Okay. All right. Give me. I don't think a luck checks makes sense because I just don't think it would really make sense for a circus to be in town. However, that doesn't mean there can't be. Fine. It doesn't mean there can't be ways to get your goal done. So give me just give me a check. Give me a charm, I think, is usually your go-to, so you can do that. That's fine.
So that is a 45 under 84.
So what I like to imagine is sort of this transitionary montage of you talking with some various nightclub owners and such. Maybe you're booking some short run shows just for a quick couple bucks, and since you don't necessarily have a booking manager here doing that for you, you're talking to various people, and if you bring up the notion of like theatricalities and such, especially if you mention something called, if you literally mention like the circus, it would be brought to your attention that there is a place on Fish Street, 443 Fish Street, called Painless Tattoos, and when they're not touring, there is a tattoo artist named Valentina Saga, who has done a lot of work with various theater companies in terms of their makeup, fake tattoos, and things. You get kind of that kind of cringy like vibe that it's whenever anyone wants to try to be depicted as like foreign and sort of exotic, like they want special makeup. And this is a person, Valentina Saga, who is brought up, and then when she's not doing those types of things, she actually has this she works there. It's also run by a like the person, the owner is actually Jinping Liu, who is like the owner of it, but specifically you're given the name of Valentina. And so that's over on Fish Street. So would you say you head off in that direction?
Absolutely.
Okay. So maybe, I mean, I'm going to say, like, just for the sake of continuity, you go back to Nancy Lombard's. She never comes home. The next day, she's still not there. You head out, you do your asking around. Maybe part of your asking around is also asking after Nancy. But eventually you find yourself directed here. And you can see it's in an area. It's not actually not that far from Water Street. It's like perpendicular, runs perpendicular. Water Street's like an east-west running road that loops almost like an arc through the middle of Arkham. And then Fish Street is sort of a small north-south running road on the north of the river. And when you get there, like, it's very cold. The streets are covered, so there's not like a ton of business going on. But you can see when you enter in, it is very much a tattoo parlor. It doesn't look very busy, but you can see on the walls various images of like Chinese and Japanese styling. Like, you can see like there's scripts here and there, and there's maybe a smell of like incense of some kind, something burning, maybe a candle or two. You hear the sounds of music playing, and it's very, very quiet, but it certainly isn't jazz. And then you can see that in like this little nook, this little office nook, there is a man who's probably, you would peg him maybe in his mid to late 50s or so, who shuffles out. And he is, average height, but he's got this kind of long, flowing white white beard, long white hair. He's got like some kind of like a hat that looked like something you might have seen on some people across Siam when you were traveling about. It's not a whole lot different. And you can see he's got some tattoos, like these almost sort of like mystical, or at least quasi-mystical symbols here and there. But he comes out and he kind of shuffles out and he says, "What can I do for you today, madam? Are you here to impart upon yourself the mysteries of the Far East?" And he kind of does this big, kind of flamboyant movement of his hands. And then he waits for you to respond.
Yes, good day, sir. Thank you. Not today. Perhaps another time. I am here specifically today. I'm interested, perhaps, in meeting with Miss Valentina.
Oh, yes, she is one of our most gifted purveyors.
I believe, and he kind of reaches his hand up to the side of his temple and kind of touches the tattoo.
Yes, she is working with a customer. One moment, who might I say? No, don't tell me. Your name is Marie.
Oh my word! Oh, and she gives a little, kind of a small little clap that says, "However, did you know?"
And the spirits, and he just makes a gesture up to the sky. One moment, please. And he just shuffles back. And then a few minutes later, he comes back, but you can see there is a fairly tall woman that probably towers over both you and him. She is muscular and built. You can see she's got a bit of a belly as well. And not only that, she has kind of a scruffy looking beard that seems to have been pruned somewhat. But she comes out and she's got rings and tattoos, and you can see she's got ink on her fingertips and such. And she says, yeah, what can I do for you? You're looking for Valentina. You got a recommendation?
Word of mouth. Your reputation precedes you, Valentina.
Yeah, you got some pretty skin. That's good.
Thank you. Thank you.
You looking for something permanent or something a little bit more impermanent? We can do both.
Yes, I suppose I should state my intention. Yes, I am not looking for any permanent ink today. Thank you. My fancies change too swiftly to commit to any such permanent ink. But I am, however, very interested in your talents of changing one's appearance. That is, yes. I've had to do a very little bit of that for stage performances and such, but I would be keen to learn a bit more from you. Your reputation precedes you.
You want a job?
Part-time. I'm not sure. Again, fancies being
Louis,
what they are.
she just wants a job. And you see he shuffles back out. Oh, well, I'm so very sorry, but we are not hiring currently, but perhaps you could leave your name, your contact information, and a reference or two so that I might consult the spirits.
Oh, perhaps there's been a misunderstanding. I'm not necessarily looking for a source of income. I'm just looking to learn the craft.
An internship, then. Excellent.
Indeed, yes, something of the sort. Again, short term, but I'm keen to learn.
You want to work here for free, for him?
For you, Valentina.
What's in this for me exactly? And you can see she just occasionally just scratches the scruff on her chin.
And did I hear? Did you say that there was some sort of music that was playing in here when we came in, or was it fairly quiet?
Yes, there's music. It definitely sounds like the man who you've been speaking to is certainly trying to create a vibe. You know. You got to use your hands when you say it, and you got to kind of create like a ball with your hands. Long, give me a hand. Do it. Let's make a little. It's like you're running your hands over a melon. Like, ooh. Okay. All right.
My particular set of skills is a little more in the oratory. I'm a singer by trade. I
don't understand how that's going to help me here.
Fill the days. Would you perhaps?
Do you have money? Because that's fine. If you have money and if you would like to convey that. It's very strange for someone to come in here, look for work, and then pay to work. But hey, if that's what you're after, then that's what you're after.
If that would make this work, yes. It would be like you're offering a class and I am paying for the class. So that works.
Okay. Sure. You okay with this, Louis? I have consulted the spirits, and they say her aura is clouded and mysterious. This is the perfect addition to our... Okay, I get it. Let's go back to your office. I leave the work to you. And then he kind of shuffles back in. And then we see like you get led back, and there's like like she's working on somebody right now. Like this, you can see there's a big, like almost like a dock worker, like a big hulking dude, kind of has a very hairy back because his shirt is off, but most of that has been shaved, and there's like little patches of hair, and there's this massive like array of like a sea ship, like this old sailing vessel that she's been very painstakingly working on. You can see that there's the water, there's the ocean underneath it, and there's these like sharks that are kind of nipping at the bottom of the boat itself. And she's like, all right,
my word, your talent is just breathtaking.
You see the guy who's on the bed is like, wait, is Toy in here? Why are there two people in here? What's going on? And he's like, shut up, Frankie. And then she like slaps him on the back. God! And she slaps like right where she's been like shaving, and it's
right.
And we'll say that the two of you, you get to work, and she starts showing you the differences in what she's doing, and various colors, and talking. And the day passes. Okay. You met some people. There you go. You met a bearded circus lady who does tattoos. And
so to fill the audience in, by the way, the pulp talent that I had gotten when I rolled up Marie was Animal Companion. And since I obviously lost dear Clara in Bangkok, it seemed only right for me to replace that pulp talent with a different one. So I am angling toward Master of Disguise.
Okay. Let's check in with Patrick. So Patrick, what business do you have to attend to here? You've last time around we know you saw Peter, but then you also spent some time going back to Dr. Mulick, and we saw some of those sessions over the course, and we'll say those sessions are probably like something over the course of the month. But you were making a lot of progress. It seems like he was kind of helping you to sort of piece together what's real, what's not real, and understanding how to process that, right? So like probably for the first time in a long time, at least like mentally, the mind is starting to be less clouded. What does Patrick do?
Wakes up and goes to his barbershop. Hasn't cleaned up his kind of area in a while. Takes a look around. He sees Pastor Wood's hat left on the stand. The one time he slept over. I haven't cleaned it up. Lift it up. I see the Bible under it. Pastor Wood, huh? Open to a random page. Watch and pray lest you enter temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. I grab at the page, tear it out. I feed it to my mouth.
You start eating the pages?
No, the mouth to my arm.
Okay. Oh, you feed it to your mouth.
Yeah.
Okay. So you start doing that, and like the first page, as like you look around, obviously you're there early in the morning before Peter has arrived. I feel like this would be an odd thing to do in front of Peter.
He's watching me.
Yeah, so we'll say you go when he's not there, right? Early in. And so you just start ripping out pages and shoving it into the mouth. The mouth eats it without any reservation. And you just watch as like the page first like becomes sodden with all of like the juices, the strange saliva. But then it swallows it. And unlike the moment when like it's like back in Bangkok where it kind of spit out some of the rosary beads, it doesn't seem to have any real effect as they just you rip out another same thing. It just continues to feed and eat.
And then I'll wrap it up for a day's out. Let's say it's like a Sunday. I'll go to the First Baptist Church of Arkham. Listen to one of the sermons.
Okay. So we'll say you head. We'll say it's a Sunday, which means your barbershop's probably not even open that day. So maybe that's the other reason why you don't see Peter is that it's day when it's closed. It's winter time. There's unlikely there's going to be any business whatsoever between those two factors. Make it over to a church. At some point, I actually did write down the names of churches because I wrote them down for.
Yeah, I was looking at the map.
Pastor
There's like
Wood.
a whole list. I just picked a random one on there.
Okay, you did pick one from the list. Okay, Good. All right, so then you get there and give me a Give me a luck test.
That's cool. That is actually on the map. I love that, Patrick.
And it's on Lich Street, which is funny. There's a church on Lich Street.
That is funny as hell.
I pass out there, dude.
Patrick, you go into the services, sit in the back. You had wrapped your the mouth on your forearm up really tightly, and you can feel it squirming. And you can hear like its muffled cries as it hasn't quite gotten through, but you know it would be any moment now. But as your eyes look and scan the crowd, and it's a busy church. There's dozens and dozens of people in here, so you can see that there's at least maybe 30 to 40 people here. That's a decent showing. You recognize a couple faces. They haven't noticed you yet, but as you're scanning around, you see the familiar hair. The kind of like the short hair, the dark hair of Anna, and you see she's like flanked on either side by her mother and by her father. And they haven't noticed you yet, but you recognize them, and they're there, and they're kind of going through, following along as whatever kind of preacher is kind of doing their services. But you sit in the back, so no one really notices it, but every now and then, like your arm just kind of like jerks around a little bit, and you have to like kind of move it a bit. Anything else you do?
Yeah, when the service is over, I would head over to the cemetery.
Okay.
That's like the old Arkham graveyard, maybe where there's a little tombstone or gravesite of Walter. Pay him a visit.
Okay. You head over there, and they they come from wealth, so more than likely it's a fairly grandiose area, probably maybe even a mausoleum of some kind. He's been dead for, I guess, a year and a half at this point, considering where we're at, or maybe not quite a year and a half, maybe a little over a year. So maybe work hasn't been completely finished, but you can see a lot of the etchings and things have been done. But when you get there, give me a spot hidden test.
I failed with an 82. I might spend some luck. I've got some to spare. Let me see.
Wow.
26.
Somebody's
luck.
rolling in luck.
Okay.
I'll spend it. Yeah.
You notice that the kind of the mausoleum area where he is entombed, it has like these kind of wraparound friezes, these little carvings in the stone. And as you look at them, you recognize some of the symbols that you see in those carvings. Like you can see that it's like, in some cases, just like a basic fleur-de-lis, something like that. But when you look more closely, very intricately carved into the stone, you can see a series of symbols and an iconography, not unlike that which Bev and Shyma had discovered and had been kind of playing around and studying from Savannah. So back in Savannah, they had discovered in some of the rooms of Joy Grove that there were those little symbols here and there. And you can see someone has taken the effort to carve them into the frieze around this mausoleum.
So this is what you're working with in your later years. I lit up a cigarette. Couldn't even imagine. Most observers, the markings that are there.
Okay. I don't think you would know anything more than what Shyma and Bev probably debriefed you on, and that was just like a series of disconnected images from a variety of cultures rather than any singular one, and that some of them were more folkloric or anthropologic in origin. Others were more occult in origin. There really didn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to the combination of things, but you definitely observe it. With your spot hidden, one of the other things you notice is that it's a very snowy day. So there's probably a flurry coming down after church. People are hustling back, etc. But that does leave the cemetery kind of covered in quite a thick
layer of snow. Some of the places that are just headstones, you can tell, are barely peeking up above the snow at this point. But looking around, like, you do see that there are other people here at visiting the cemetery as well. And one of them, you notice, is staring at you. They're just looking at you from a particularly far distance, and they're not standing by any particular grave or at like any other landmark of any kind. You can just see them just kind of staring there, and some man, you can't really tell any more specifics than that, and he's just kind of smoking a cigarette. Has a kind of fedora hat on, kind of a scruffy looking coat, and there's a little bit of snow on the shoulders.
I'll do my best to remember what I see or what he looks like and make my way out of here.
Okay. Just make a note of it and you walk away. Okay. So at that point then, why don't we do some checking in with some other folks? Let's check in with Shyma. So Shyma, last we saw of you had a kind of an argument of sorts with your dad. You ran away. We know that you're crashing in the hangar. What is Shyma up to these days?
As sort of dismissive and everything's fine at Shyma, as things are really not going well for her right now. Like, she is technically homeless and found out that her mom might be dead. And if that's true, not only is her mother dead, but her father has been alone for several years now, and she can't go home and see him. And we've kind of joked about it a little, but I do think she actually does have some level of fairly impactful body dysmorphia. And like, I think this hand is not fucking helping with that. And so it's but I mean, for better or for worse, she doesn't have a ton of friends, and she's kind of a bit of a loner dork even when things are going well. And she spends all of her time either at the gym training for wrestling or at the library working. Like, she doesn't do a whole lot else. So in the hangar, she is going to continue poring over Savitri Sircon's journals. Like, she's going to complete that. And she had learned from Ed Exley a few like workout things that she could do on the road when she didn't really have equipment. And for reasons that she can't really articulate, she's trying to learn how to do like one-handed push-ups. And anytime that kind of fails and she keeps falling and like almost breaking her jaw, like, she goes back to the books, and because that's one thing she knows she can do well. So she's just kind of alternating between pushing herself physically and losing sanity reading these books.
Give me a library use test. Remember that, like, the poring over stuff, there's like a time limit to it, but you can reduce that, or time frame to it, but a good library use test can shorten that as well.
I will.
So the higher tier of success, the more it shortens.
Right. It's an 80 over 55. You know what? I don't think I have the luck.
Okay. You can push it. You can always push too. That's another option.
Yeah, sure. Why the
It
fuck
definitely
not?
won't lead to a draft book killing you.
No, I
Oh dear. Oh gosh.
I already have a major wound, and like I said, things aren't going super well for her right now anyway, so might as well push it. And
Hey.
pushing it was a success with a 37 out of 55.
Okay. So as the days pass. The snow continues to pile up. You can tell that the airport has kind of shut down traffic. Like a blizzard of sorts has was a nor'easter. A nor'easter has come through, something like that, and it's it's making things a little bit difficult on travel. So there's really not been a ton of activity at the airport itself. Likely, Frank has checked in on you from time to time. Maybe brought you a little care basket. Maybe ran some errands for you, brought you some food, whatever it might be. But he's kind of checking you in, and I would say probably every time he's come, not only has he kind of brought you something, but you can definitely tell he's like very subtly encouraging you to reach out to like Dr. Key or reach out to Marie or Patrick. Like, it might be good. It's like, it's probably not good, you being out here all by yourself like this. This is, and make sure you don't tell anyone about this. This is just our little secret. Okay.
No, of course. I'm sorry. I hope you won't get in trouble.
It's just, Miss Winston Rogers, this is where her father spent a not insignificant amount of his time in a lot of years. So it's something of a time capsule. So try not to make too many changes to it, just in case.
No, I'm being very careful. I haven't used the phone even once, and I only use the electricity when I really need it. I'm being very careful. I promise.
Okay. All right. I'm sure you sure you don't. You could just come. I got a couch. You can come crash. Like, I mean.
And she kind
Miss
of
Winston Rogers got Will and Ancana there.
Kind of pulls up the hands. Like, I just
no, God.
I can't always control it.
And it just like as you say that, it's like like screeches. This
and
horrific
she immediately
screech.
puts it behind her back as soon as it does that.
And he tries not to, but he recoils. Right? He's like, oh God.
Yeah. He's like, I just
immediately feels bad about it.
I can't
but
always
he does.
control it. I actually don't know if I can control it at all.
Listen, I didn't want to. I didn't really want to bring this up, but it's just extreme. But I mean, we have access to some medical folks, so I'm not saying that this is what you should do, but I'm just saying.
No, are you saying that you know someone who might be able to do this? Amputate my hand professionally? Because I have been thinking about. I only know Grey's Anatomy, but I was gonna look at some other books to see if I could learn about anatomy and
You are not cutting your hand off on your own. Are you out of your?
Oh, I can't go to a doctor about it.
We have people on the payroll who will do what Miss Winston Rogers or one of her representatives asked without any questions.
But
think about it carefully. There's no coming back from it, kid.
Think about it, but it's not.
Talk to Bev.
It's not about the questions, And the thing is, I don't even know if that's going to work. I only know that amputation works on a dead body. I don't know how it's going to react on a live body.
Well, I could talk to Mr. Price. Maybe he can. Maybe he'll be willing to play guinea pig.
Please don't tell him. Don't. He has his own things to worry about. He has his fiance. Things ended with him, I think, before we went to Bangkok. And
I've heard.
He has his own things to worry about.
Okay. All right, kid. Listen. All right. Just think about it. Don't do anything rash. Don't go cutting anything. And you're not doing this on your own. There's plenty of people we could talk to. And if you pay them enough money, it's funny how their mouths just suddenly close up. It's really weird. All right.
She again does that silent thing that she does with her dad, where she's not really promising anything.
Mm-hmm. And so he leaves, and you get back to study, and we just kind of see this run of days, right, where it's just like the sun comes up, but we could barely tell outside. Like everything's like the wind is whipping around, and everything's so cold, and we just see like the little light show up, and it's kind of bleeding out into the into the snow-covered airport. You can see this tiny little beacon of light every now and then. And as you're reading through these journals, you're noticing that, I mean, a lot of it are definitely the ramblings of an affected mind, somebody who has at times seems extremely cogent and intelligent, but other times seems deranged. And you even see almost like these two different voices, as if there's notes that are taken at one time and then someone comes back over top of them in a similar handwriting, so you think it's still Sirikon. It's just it has this sort of weird duality to it. But what you basically start to glean and is that she's done a significant amount of research where she is painstakingly gone through a series of what she considers known mythos deities that show up regularly within various occult texts, and tried to use the various literature, the corpus of material that is available academically or even non-academically in some cases, to try to figure out who this deity was, right? There's a promise of it being one, but the liar from beyond, the thing with 1,000 mouths, these are epithets that don't seem to correspond to it. And so one by one, you start going through. And so you're not quite all the way through, but I am going to share with you, see if this works. I'm going to share with you one page, and there are other pages that will eventually come. So you tell me if you get this now. Does something pop up for you, Maitreyi?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're welcome to read that if you like.
Sir, do you mean out loud or?
Yeah. Just read it.
So it's it's got a couple of what looks like hand-drawn images on it. One is sort of a tentacly kind of circle thing. One looks a little more ritualistic, like it's a little more geometric. Two of them are actually, there are two drawings that are like that. One looks like sort of just a shape, and one looks like maybe a really fucked up trident looking thing. And there's also what looks like a person in like cultist robes. And the two entries that are written are Azathoth and Nyarlathotep. And the first one for Azathoth is known epithets: blind idiot god, the demon sultan, notes chaotic, mindless, quote, nucleus of the universe, unquote, endlessly writhing and piping at the center of all creation. But Azathoth cannot lie, for it is mindless chaos. The liar from beyond does not fit. It invokes primal destruction, not deception or guile. And would not 1,000 mouths require agency? The next entry for Nyarlathotep is known as Samson's Black Man, Crawling Chaos, Black Pharaoh, the Faceless God. Question mark. So not clear if that last one is an epithet, is the implication. Notes, shifter of shapes known for trickery, embodies deception and manipulation. Some texts call him an emissary to quote the outer gods, unquote. Lies, deceit, manipulation are all among his tools. I can see the origins of Samson's beliefs, but mouths? And his myriad forms are masks, not mouths. Too obvious and deliberate. Samson lacked the shrewdness to see this facade, but not Ramon. He was always several steps ahead or playing a different game entirely. Lies within lies.
And so,
and that's what it is.
Yeah. And so you're going through and you realize that there's a significant amount of information that like she's gleaned through. She kind of makes reference points here and there to like different texts in which she's kind of derived some of these conclusions. And so you can even see she's almost footnoted things. Some of those texts you might have, some are probably still back in her library on Kokruk. And maybe one night you're reading and you kind of fall asleep. And you're awoken to the sound of the a gun's hammer being pulled back, like, and then there is like a gun that's sort of put to your back, and you just hear, "I don't know who you fucking are, but you're not supposed to be here."
I put my hands up. I'm sorry.
As you put your hands up, the mouth goes, and he's like, "Oh fuck! What the fuck?" And he just starts firing. The gun goes off
and whirls around and
you
puts
whirl
her
around.
hand behind her back.
And you see like a terrified looking Mickey Walnuts who has got his gun up to you, his handshake. What the fuck is that? What? Oh fuck! Oh, what the fuck was that?
I'm so sorry. Nothing. And he's like taking a lot of steps
That ain't
back.
Kid, you're not supposed to have hands on your fucking mouth. You don't put hands on your. Why is there a mouth on your fucking hand?
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. You yeah. I know you. You're one of Frankie's guys. Well, what the fuck?
Yeah, Shyma, you're Mr. Walnuts, Mr. Eddie Walnuts. You work for Miss Janet Winston Rogers. I'm Shyma Oberon. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I needed somewhere to stay. I'm kind of sick.
What the fuck is this shit going on here? Holy crap! You need someone to stay. There's hotels for that. This is not a place.
I can't go to a hotel, please. I'm really sorry. I'll figure something out tomorrow. Okay, please. Just let me stay tonight. I'll leave in the morning.
And like your hand like occasionally comes out and it's like, it's like, yeah, you're right. You definitely shouldn't go to a hotel. My God.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Almost gave me a friggin' heart attack over here. Oh, goodness. And he's like, he puts the gun back in his holster. Oh, God. Does Miss Winston Rogers know you're here?
She doesn't. And you can't tell her. Please don't tell her. I'll leave. You don't have to tell her.
Why you stay? Where's the rest of you? Where's you little gang of misfits?
I guess at their homes.
Okay, well, why aren't you at your home?
Well, and she kind of gestures to the hand.
Okay.
It's like, I can't really go home.
Okay, well, why can't you stay with one of them?
Because I can't really control it.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know what it's gonna do, and I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, that answers one question. Kid,
I'm really sorry.
This is private property.
I know.
I got reports.
I didn't know where to go. I didn't know where else to go.
Okay. Wait a second. Does Frank know you're here? This is Frank's idea, wasn't it?
And he looks down. Like, it wasn't his idea.
Bleeding heart piece.
No, right. You can't tell Mr. Winston. He was just trying to help me. You can't tell her. You can't get her in trouble. Please don't tell her.
Give me a test.
What do you want?
What do you want? What do you think you're doing? Do you think you're begging? So I mean, this could
begging.
be. I would say either charm or persuasion. One of those two are probably what you're doing. I don't think you're lying. You're not bullshitting them. So no fast talk.
No.
Yeah. Either one of those.
I'm gonna do persuade.
Okay.
It's definitely non-charming.
Okay. Okay.
Yo.
That is a
And
fail.
that is a 77 over a.
Okay. So he's like,
37.
all right. Do you know what I do for Miss Winston Rogers? You understand my position within the organization?
I know you're her head of security, sir.
There you go. That's correct. So like when she's got issues, me or one of my guys, we take care of it. Now, it would not look particularly well on her head of security if I would have just kind of looked the other way with somebody breaking in and staying on the grounds here without permission. Now, that being said, I am not without you've got a fucking mouth on your hand. I'm not. You're right. All right. This is what I'm gonna do. I am going to. I'm going to speak with Frank, and we're gonna put our two heads together. We're gonna find a better place solution for all of this. For now, I will keep this from her. However, if anything goes missing from here, if there's a scratch on the plane, if anything, the next time she steps foot in this hangar is amiss, and she senses it, and I'll tell you this, she will. She's gotta, holy jeez. Then it's gonna probably come up. So mind your P's, your Q's, make sure everything goes back the way it is, and for God's sake, take a bath. It reeks in here. Jeez Louise.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
I've been doing my best with the washcloth, but I just.
Oh, well, maybe try
I'm sorry.
something a little stronger next time.
Yeah, no, I
like a hose or something. I don't know.
I know
Dear
when
God.
it gets a little warmer, maybe I can.
Well, there's a long wait for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, kid. While you're here, if you see anything out of the ordinary, all right, and he pulls out like a small little pad, kind of opens it up, and a pen, and he's just, or probably actually not a pen, probably like a pencil. He just kind of writes something down. Here's my number. We've been having some issues. Not sure if you were aware of this, but one of her house staff was attacked a little bit before Christmas. That's why we moved it to the hotel. But we've had a few incidents.
Told us.
Okay, good. So she is very concerned about her security. So make yourself useful. Look around. And then we can say, you're not staying here. You're just, you're on duty for us. You're a night guard, something like that. All right?
Okay, I can do it. I can do that.
Okay. All right. I'd shake your hand, but
No.
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 All right.
Yeah.
You-
I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to come out here, and
Yeah, now I
I
gotta
thought I
drive
was
back
being
too.
careful.
Yeah, well, you weren't. So
Yeah.
maybe be a little more careful next time. All right?
Okay.
And you can see, like, he stops at the door. He looks back. He's like, just like a quick little, even though he's an atheist, as we all know, he still like kind of does this thing. And then he steps out and the door slams shut behind it, and we'll fade out of that scene. And we'll check in with Will. What's Will been up to, man?
I also have business with Frank, whether that's at the hangar or some
No, it doesn't have to be.
wherever I would be able to meet him. I
It's
try
got an
to
apartment.
contact him and meet up with some.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You'll find him in his apartment. No issues. And you open the door. You can see he's there, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing, kid? Come on in. And you kind of go in.
Yeah.
Very small apartment. Nothing too fancy.
I'm carrying a waxcloth bundle, like a square-ish bundle, and I set it down with a little thunk on his table or something like that, wherever there's some open space.
Mhm. Whoa, hey,
Frank.
hey.
Well, hey, this is good for you too. I don't have any contacts here. I don't know where to move things through, who to talk to, and let's get back in the old game.
Whoa, kid, what are you talking about?
I'm just saying, it'll be like old times, and you've been here a while. I'm sure you put down roots. Who should I be talking to about this?
And he takes the flap and he flips it over. And what does he see as he does so?
He sees Impressured Places, Legends of the Qualia, Visions from Yadith, and a 12-volume set called Revelations of Glaaki. I think I'm pronouncing those correctly.
Yeah. Okay. And there was a fifth one that you didn't say you went back and picked up. I didn't get to
because I died.
Yeah. That's a shame because that's the really good one. That's the really one.
I didn't roll it.
Yeah. He's like, well, I kind of knew what I was going to give you. I have a list. Okay. So he looks at you and he's like, where'd you get these?
You know where I got them. You brought them back from Bangkok.
Why do you have them? We've got 2 brainiacs on our fucking crew. Why are you with these
things?
These
have nothing to do with that. This is a side hustle.
What do you mean you don't? Where did you get them?
I got them from Kokrook Island.
So you took them from an island of a woman who was one of the leaders of this freaking cult that we've been chasing around the damn globe, and you think it's got nothing to do with that?
Well, Shyma and Patrick were at that island for how long? They found all the good books. This is the stuff that was left behind.
Did you see the condition they were in when they got on the plane?
This is just gravy, is all I'm saying.
This is not
There's no
gravy.
reason we can't come out ahead.
You don't get to make the decision over whether this is gravy or whether this is something like a main course, okay? We have a professor of frickin' anthropology on the crew. You run it past her, okay? She is the one who clears this, not you. What the hell's wrong with you, man?
I'm just saying, I don't really appreciate this tone from you. You brought me in on this whole thing.
You don't really appreciate my tone?
You told me that there'd be some money in this. You told me that we'd be able to find some interesting things. I thought we were getting the gang back together.
Do you know how many years I was in prison before she took me out? Do you know how many years that was that I did for you? For you. Because you had to run away. Do you know how many years that was? Because it wasn't 1 and it wasn't 2, okay? But you know what it was? It was 3, okay? So this is what I'm going to say to you. You're
I'm trying
working
to make
for
up
her.
for that. I'm trying.
This
it's
is
not
not
like
the
I'm
way
going
to
to push
do it.
you out. You're going to get your cut.
I am working for this woman now, okay? I have been working her for years now. She trusts me. I trust her. She gives me a good wage. I get freedom to fly wherever the hell I want. And you're going to bring those things to me and under her nose on an investigation that she has collected all these people for to figure out what's going on. You're going to take something that, for all you know, you numbskull, could actually have a very important clue in it to help figure all this stuff out. Have you ever even read a book?
Frank, come on. You're so overreacting right now. Why on earth did you bring me in on this if you...
I want to hit you. I'm going to deck you. I'm going to take you.
You already hit me with your fucking car. Why not just hit me with your fist too?
Are you living? Are you living? You leave these with me, since you can't seem to be trusted with them. And he starts packing them up and pulling them.
No. You want me to take him to Key? I'll take him to Key. And I'm wrestling for him.
And he's like, look, kid, these are not your property. Everything that we get while we are on any of these trips to any of these places, that is the property of Jan and Winston Rogers. And she has experts on the staff right now who are going to check whether or not these items are important. And if they're not important, guess what? They're still her fucking property. And until she says otherwise, you don't do anything with them.
We've got the bundle, and I shove the top set of books off, and they just go flying. And I grab that 12-volume set, and I just prop it up and slam it down. And I point. You see whose fucking blood is on these books? That makes them my property. I almost died for these books. All right, and you want me to talk to Key about them? I'll talk to Key about him, but that doesn't make it Winston Rogers stuff. I am my own man.
You slam the volume down, and like this huge and immediately the room flickers, and it goes from this relative bachelor pad with wood panels. You can see there's a space heater in the side. He's got a little record player that probably isn't even playing currently. Small little couch, like a love seat, really, right? And you slam it on this dining table, and everything just flickers. And when you look, you see the walls that were once this well-crafted wood paneling are now dripping with saliva. You can see this wet, fleshy, almost pinkish color, like the interior of a mouth. And then you can see like a pustule just whoosh, opens up where there is like a vent of some kind. And as he's like kind of getting back his balance and coming back towards you, you can see that this rug, or not rug, this we'll call it like a little blanket he might have had in the back of the couch, begins to unfurl and start to wrap around his legs like it's this big tongue. And he's coming at you. He's like, you son of a bitch. And he's like, yeah. And he's like pulling his jacket off, like he's getting ready to swing at you. Give me a sand test, Will.
Oh my god.
Can I opt out?
No.
I forget I need dice for this game.
Oh no.
Okay, that's a 36. My sand is 51, so success.
Okay.
Nice.
So you keep it together. This is the second time you've seen something like this. Back in Casablanca, you had this same deal, and he's just
Always
kind of
with
walking
Frank,
through it towards you. Yeah, and you're just like looking and looking, and you get your shit together right as his fist is coming towards your face. Go ahead and give me like a dodge roll or something to see if he hits you.
Yeah. Dodge is 52. Rolled
Will
a
has a major
54.
wound.
Okay. 54 is good. You dodge it.
No, I failed by 2.
So you needed a 54 under 56.
No,
Can
my dodge is 52. I rolled a 54.
Spend 2 luck.
I'll spend the 2 luck. I'm running
Let's
low
see.
on luck though, so I'm not sure.
He's
It's
gonna hit you in
punched.
he could kill you. You could get your chin right in the and then you fall down. Your head like it's like the whole what was it called, a $1 Million Baby? That instant your head just kind of hits on a chair or something, and he's like, "Oh shit!"
I can't almost die 2 sessions in a row. I'll spend the 2 luck.
Okay, so you spend a 2 luck, and he misses, and like he kind of goes stumbling back, and as you like swirl around to look at him as he turns back on you, and you were looking kind of towards this little kitchenette area, everything now flickers back, and you can see it's his apartment once more, and he's charging it.
Step back and like, the hell is that?
It's the least of your freaking problems. You think you're the only one who's got blood in the game? You're the newbie here, kid, okay? Everyone you're working with, this isn't their first rodeo. First it was Savannah, then it was Los Angeles, then it was Mexico City. We take you to one place, and now you think you get some sort of special treatment. The only reason you're on this team, kid, is because one of them already paid the ultimate price. And one of the reasons he paid the ultimate price is because we didn't have enough information. We need more information so that we know what we're going into. And so, no, you're not going to take these books and keep them to yourself. What the hell's wrong with you? Are you even listening to me, kid? And he kind of snaps his fingers right in your face.
What the hell's going on here?
What the hell's going on here is I'm having some major regrets, and maybe I made a bad judgment call here. You know what? I tell you what. You go ahead, have fun in your apartment, whatever lease that she's got you set up, and you go right ahead. I'm going to find somebody else. All right? I'm going to find somebody else. People like you are a dime a dozen. All right? And I got plenty of dimes. Now get the hell out of here.
Come on, Frank. Frank.
No, get out.
I'm sorry you spent 3 years. It was too long. And I grab my 12-volume set and I walk out.
Oh, he doesn't let you
I
take
do
that.
leave the other books, though.
He'll slap that stuff right out of your hands.
Oh, damn.
If you want to take it, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead and.
I wouldn't push it over him.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You can take it.
Okay,
it's fine. All right. So he tries to slap, and he like maybe he stumbles or he trips over that carpet, and you rush out, and you just hear him kind of cursing at you as you slam the door and race down the hall. Something about a coward. Something like that. Okay. So we just did a really big round, a lot of different scenes. Everyone's, I think, had a chance to sort of go and flavor something that they're doing over the time. Who here still has major wounds? I think Shyma does, and Will.
I do.
And Will. So all of you go ahead and give me a Constitution test. So let's do one of those. We'll say a week has passed. So this will be like your second week in Arkham.
I'll go ahead and take 4 audience dice for 100 on this.
Out of here.
No.
Oh my god. I rolled a 7. That's an extreme
Okay.
success, right?
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, I needed a 12 for extreme.
Okay.
Oh yes.
All right. So let me see.
I'm glad one of us succeeded.
Okay. So Will, you said extreme success?
Yes. So I think that takes off the major wound, right?
It
does.
heals the major wound, and you roll 2d3, and you get that many hit points back.
Holy crap.
Nice.
I probably would have lost the major wound anyways if I had rolled well, but we'll see.
Thank
How do we want to
goodness.
flavor
So
it?
4 hit points.
Yeah. Do we want to say like maybe like do you think you go to a hospital, or do you think maybe like Ravi and Ankana or something are there like tending to your wounds or something? Is that part of your Threes Company's crowd?
Yeah, I think that would be good, especially because Will's taken a lot of hits, but the one he's probably worried about the most right now would be the machete slash to the arm, because that one got seriously infected because I pushed my first aid and I failed.
Mhm.
So I imagine that there'd be like moments where he's like there and they're like cleaning it out and like they have to like reopen it essentially and wash it out again. And there's just like the black lines that are like going across his arm and stuff like that. And then it's finally starting to get better.
Maybe at certain points they give you like a shopping list of stuff to pick up, and you're like hunting around for it. You have to you don't go to the basic grocery stores. It's more like herbal remedy kind of deal, as opposed to like, and maybe all the while you're doing that, you're complaining about Frank and like the fight that you two's got to do, and they're just like, right, and then, that kind of thing's going on.
He just doesn't understand me. He wants to control me. He's not my dad.
And then, then they look at you and, how old are you? Baby
24?
face, are you? Well, 20. You said 24. Is that how old Will is? I thought he was older.
No, he's 24. He's
Okay.
fairly young.
Okay.
I just
And then-
act old, Jeff. It's all I can
And-
do.
And he's and like Robbie, she just you hear, she doesn't talk much, but when she does, you can hear her. 24-year-old should stop talking about father. Start living up to themselves as an adult. And you can see like
That's what I'm trying to do, but he won't let me. He wants to keep me under his thumb.
And then like they exchange something in Siamese, and then Ankana starts laughing.
Wait, what'd you say?
Oh no, it was cartoon she read in the newspaper, and she points down to the newspaper. She was just telling me
I don't
about
read
it.
Much.
And so we'll fade out of that little healing scene. How did Shyma do?
I failed.
That sucks. No recovery, unfortunately, for Shyma.
Yeah.
Is this something that luck can
Or
be spent
Bev.
on if you have it, or no?
I think so. Yeah, I don't see any reason not. It's just a contest. You should be able to spend it on contests, I think. I don't have anything in my notes that says you can't.
Not to play your character for you, just like
No,
the
no,
numbers were
I
close.
assumed
Classic
I
Melissa.
could spend luck on it. So if I can, I would like to.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Okay, so that's a regular success. So go ahead and recover 1d3 hit points.
Okay.
And if that takes you to half of your full HP total, then you heal the major wound. Otherwise, you do not heal the major wound.
It does not, but I'll take the 2 hit points to
Sure.
take you from 7 to 9.
Okay, excellent.
Oh, cool.
And then Bev,
Thanks,
I
Mel.
believe, is the...
Yes.
How'd you do,
I will
Bev?
also spend. I failed, so I will also spend 11 luck to pass.
Okay, go ahead and roll your D3. Same thing as Shyma. And okay, so that's 2 more for you. So does that put you at half?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. So what does that put you up to?
I'm at 7 and I need 9.
Okay, so maybe next time. Okay, so the 2 of you retain your wounds for another week. Will, yours is healed, and so now Will, you can start doing regular recovery. And so you can, like, every day you'll be kind of getting a little bit back. Basically, once you get the major wound off, like, you're gonna get back to full in terms of our downtime. Okay, so we did a round of scenes. We don't necessarily have to do a full round again, but does anybody have additional things that they want to do? Is there any other like tasks that they're looking
I have
to do?
some stuff aside from like the trial that Bev would be doing.
Okay.
In regards of like Delta Green, it's essentially she's staying on the case.
Sure.
So she will actually take use of the library and see if she can find anything for like purification or blessings that she could use. Her focus is on trying to calcify the mouths or resolve that problem for everyone.
Okay. So you're just looking for general purification rituals, right? Because you're not going to find anything about the mouths. I can tell you that.
No, she's looking for general ones to see if that would help on top of like obtaining holy water from her Catholic church.
Yeah, give me a library use.
Okie dokie. I hate it when it moves sometimes and then boom. 47 over 87 pass.
Okay, so we'll say you spend.
I'll spend 4 more luck to make a hard success.
Okay. Do you want to make an extreme? You want to make that an extreme success?
26 luck for it.
Oh, to have that much luck to spend.
You don't have to. You don't have to. I mean, it's really how much do you really care about them? That's all it is.
I do care, but I might need it when I go to try and do it.
Okay. Talk one's reserves. I have to look something up really fast.
Melissa is channeling her inner Erennial now that she's on low luck. She's just
it's low hope all over
I've got
again.
Nothing.
So whiny. So whiny. 34.
Oh.
It was not that long ago.
I was really thinking here you are under 20.
No, I've wormed my way back up. At least last session I was under 30. I finally got up over 30 this time.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Today was the first session that I've been over 30 for like a little while.
Yeah, I've been in the same boat. I'm at 15 right now, and I've been
Gosh.
I've been under 35 for the vast majority of this campaign.
32 right now. I was very happily at like 40 and change. I was like, oh, that's like a really healthy amount of luck. And then I feel that con roll.
Kind of like live on the edge of glory, you know?
but that whole like Savitri Island was pretty demanding for a lot of
going back and listening to that shit. Oh my god!
I know.
Okay, thanks, guys. All right, Bev. So you find a series of purification rituals. A lot of these stem from some well-known religions. So you kind of get steeped into some maybe kind of Catholic and Christian lore and such. But you also dig into others as well. And one thing that catches your attention for different reasons, maybe calculations firing in your head, you're thinking of one thing, then you see a word pop up. You see something about the Afar. This basically, they're a nomadic group around the Horn of Africa, Ethiopia,
Djibouti, etc. And you notice some sort of like kind of cleansing ritual of some kind. It's written in a book that was published maybe 20 years ago or so, but it's very. It's not like particularly in depth. Like you don't really see like a full practice of it, but you do like it does seem to talk about how this seemed to kind of cure ailments. There's like these sort of folkloric anthropologic studies that were done by a group of people that were kind of traveling around Miskatonic University professors and such, maybe 20 plus years ago. And they were kind of collecting different healing stories. And when you come across that, like I think maybe what, if you're okay with this, like you think back to George Ayres. Well, you think back to George Ayres and you remember that particular location, as I think it's Eritrea, Ethiopia, that was a location that had come up before in your past studies. Everything else that you kind of come through are a series usually of religious rituals. Some of it has to do with either like exorcism or something related. So you can see like a series of rituals and things like that. So I'll say that's what you get.
Okay, cool.
So you have a handful of like religious rituals you could potentially try. All of them seem to promise to cleanse the body, and then there's like some incomplete stuff. But maybe it sort of recenters or refreshes your mind about information or a person that hadn't yet come to the fore. Maybe hasn't been at the front of your memory recently, considering all events.
Well, George Ayres would be because of the trial.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yeah, that's
because of the professor. Yeah.
Sure.
So maybe that's why it pops
Professor
up.
Hamish McDunn.
Hamish.
Hamish McDunn. Melissa and I have been watching. We've been watching an Irish show, and I've been practicing my Irish. And I have a new keyword. It's Thursday. You just say Thursday.
Thursday.
It's like,
I like
what's
that.
the delivery? It's on Thursday. It's not Friday. It's Thursday. What's wrong with you? I'm just like, I love the way they kept saying Thursday. I was just like, oh, this is amazing. So.
But another sort of thing that she would be, because she'd be poring over all of our notes that we've taken, and she definitely takes the time to go back to the start of Savannah. So she goes back to Savannah. She starts going through the things we recognize there. She starts going over the books that she has. She knows she has the one book where she could potentially learn a ritual for a portal. But that she knows that won't do them any good necessarily for this. And she can't stop thinking about Pastor Wood. And there was this horrific book that he had given her that they had found in Mexico. And I would like to, not pour over, but she does want to do the skim to see what type of ritual exists in that book. And if it would be useful for purification.
I'm pretty sure Shyma already did the skim on
you?
On that book, and it requires a pouring over still, but from the skimming I found that what the fuck was it? But there was definitely a ritual in there.
Because I didn't do it, so I didn't write it down in my notes.
No, I definitely did. I can look it up in my notes, but I very much did a skim on that, and there is a ritual in there, but it's not a cleansing ritual.
Okay.
It's like a I can't remember what it is, but it's not cleansing. Let me just look into my notes and find it for you. Binding. It's a binding ritual.
Okay.
Well, that's the opposite of what we want. We want to unbind.
But it does move. So
Rebind
I wonder
somewhere else.
But
Yeah.
my point is, mechanically, the skim is done on that particular book.
for Shyma. If Shyma continues, she can pour over. She's done the skim, I think.
Is that how it is?
Anyone can pour over it. Like mechanically, anyone can pour over it. It's not like one goes away or something like that.
I just don't know, with me doing all the studying for the purification rituals and stuff, if I'd have time to also do a pour over for that.
Probably, I would say probably not, to be honest.
That's what I was thinking.
At least I would say you wouldn't be able to conclude anything from it.
Yeah. Okay.
You can make progress on it. Like, you can certainly start reading it. And I would also remind you that, like, whenever you read books, just sort of a feature, not a bug, you go crazy.
Yeah, you lose sand.
Yeah, so and that can be skimming, that can just be, and I think, can't remember how much everyone knows about that tome, but that tome was
horrific.
Awful.
Yeah,
it had like, the fact that Pastor Wood got it was particularly fascinating, considering he's a pastor, and the things that he saw and read about inside that text, inside that tome. So it's up to you.
To that point, though, we didn't do a sandcloth for Shyma for pouring over the journals.
We're not going to do it until you're done. You're going to do it until you're done. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's pros and there's going to be pros and cons.
Got it. Thank you. I just want to make sure we hadn't missed.
No, we're good.
And I think she would reach out to Patrick to see if he would like to attempt one of the purification rituals.
Okay.
To test and see.
So we'll say it's a few days after your trip to Walter's grave, and I'll say it's still, you're getting heavy snows. It's middle of January, late second half of January. It's still heavy snows, so your business is, well, kind of not really doing much of late. So Patrick, where or in what state would Bev find you when she reaches out?
Probably spending my times at bars, just having a drink.
Okay.
She'd find me at a random one if she attended.
You probably have to go to many, because at a certain point, halfway through, your mouth will always wrestle free, and suddenly there'll be this large and loud, yes, and everyone will freak out. You hear like the sounds of a waiter or a waitress like just drop something and something crashes, and that's like your cue to get up and leave. As everyone's kind of looking around, you hear the sounds of like a wrong note. If you're at a lounge that actually has music, as someone just plays the wrong thing, and everyone kind of freaks out a bit and looks around to see where it's coming from, and it's time to go to the next one. But we'll say eventually you two track each other down. So Bev, if you try to go through some of the things that you've been able to glean from Orn, from your kind of digging into the Orn library, some of it is like literally doing exorcist type work. Some of it is something similar to it. It kind of requires either feeding the thing various herbs, or massaging various ointments, reciting certain scripture. But I'll say this, that one consistent thing you notice, Bev, is that it never seems to have any kind of lasting effect. Occasionally, specifically when it comes to like Catholicism, or Christianity of some kind, any of those types of things, not necessarily like an exorcism ritual, but some other like tangential kind of thing. It does seem to wince a bit at times, but it doesn't really seem to have like any lasting effect. And it just seems to like, its tongue will loll out, and it'll just start like lapping up whatever unguents and oils that you rub over Patrick.
Could I do like, so my pulp talent is photographic memory.
Mm-hmm.
Could I do like a no roll to see if I could find something, if I could recall something that would assist better?
I will tell you that you cannot, because you do not know that.
Okay.
Like, there's no information that you would know. I'll say this, the information exists in the world, but it is not something that you have access to or have ever come across. So
Like the sheer fact that like mouths are manifesting on people's bodies, that's never been documented in any of the texts that you've ever seen. And so trying to like devise this, this is essentially not a path towards a solution that you're looking for.
Okay.
So I would say like over the course of a week of trying this ritual or that ritual, or every day popping up, interfering with Patrick's, like everything is just stymied over and over again.
Kind of seems frustrated, and she goes, well, can you come to my car, Patrick? And she'll lead you to the trunk of her car. And no,
I thought you were gonna slam his arm in the door and just try to like amputate his arm that way.
No.
That's what I thought was happening. I was like, yeah, now we're talking.
She has purchased some rats or mice that would be fed to like a snake or a reptile or something of some sorts. Have you tried to feed it?
Only Bible verses. You want me to feed the rats to it?
Well, so everything that we've read, that I have read inside of the book from Maitreyi, is that she regularly fed it and they behaved better and they didn't attack her. So perhaps this could at least make, for now, more comfortable for you if we did feed it until we find another option.
I trust you on this. Have you tried this on Shyma at all?
I haven't. Have you heard from Shyma? She's not at home, and she's not at her dorm. And whenever I ask Frank about it, he gets really weird.
Give me the rats for now.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll say that when you do feed it a rat, it definitely settles down. It seems more satiated than eating a Bible verse, like a piece of paper. But it's not like the difference between like, oh, it's going to leave you alone for the next 3 weeks. It'll leave you, it won't be as loud, say, for maybe an hour or two. Like you'll get an hour or two of peace. Or if you feed it a rat before sleep, before going to bed at night, it doesn't wake you up in the middle of the night with its howling as frequently. It is not like a cure-all. It is definitely a way of curbing some of the issues. Mostly giving you a better night's sleep is really what it's probably going to give you for now.
Well.
Okay. Any other beats or tasks that people are looking to do?
I had one that feels fairly important. Shyma's been very careful to like not use phone and trying to use lights and everything else, but like obviously wasn't good enough. And she is the next morning, as soon as it is like a reasonable time, like as soon as the sun's been up for a couple hours, she's gonna just been like super anxious and will call Frank.
Okay. I would say if you're waiting for the sun, it probably doesn't really come up the way you think it is because it's storming pretty bad. But we'll say like at some point when it's relatively decent out, you get a call through, static on the line and everything. Not particularly good. I'm gonna say this is maybe like in timeline. It's after he had his run in with Will, so you can definitely sense that there's like an attitude, like he's got like you can sense tension coming through the phone. Yeah. Hey kid, what's going on? You all right? Is trouble? You need something?
Actually, I really, really need to talk to you. Can you come to the hangar just for a few minutes? I'm so sorry. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't urgent.
Can we? I mean, I can come. I think it's just it's a long drive. Okay. Yeah. I can come. All right. Like now, or you want me to come now?
As soon as possible.
All right. All right. Hang on. Okay, I'll be there. I'll be there in like an hour or so. All right.
And just sort of narratively, Shyma has been spending the morning just like packing everything up on the off chance that she has to leave.
Okay, so you have like your go bag ready to go?
Yeah, pretty much. pretty much.
Hour or so later, because he was driving outside of town, because like the hangar is like an hour outside of Arkham on a good day's travel. So like in the snow, like he says an hour and ends up being like 2.5 or so. But eventually he shows up, and you can see as he pushes the door open, not the hangar door. I'm gonna say like there's a side door and everything, right? And he'll pop through that. He's like, "Hey kid, so what's up? What do you need?"
She instinctively takes a few steps back first, because she knew she probably smelled funky, but having it confirmed is making her very embarrassed. And she doesn't want prankers as well. So as much as possible, it's like, Eddie Walnuts was here last night, and I'm not supposed to be here, and I told him that I'll leave this morning, and he said I didn't have to, but that he was gonna talk to you, and but
he hadn't talked to me yet.
I don't. I'm really sorry.
Do you want me to drive? Am I driving you somewhere? Is that why
No,
I'm here?
no, I wanted to tell you because I don't know if you're gonna get in a lot of trouble or.
Kid, I just got in a car and I drove over 2 hours through a snowstorm. It feels like all of that could have been conveyed to me over the phone. And you could tell he's a little he seems a little on edge.
I'm sorry, Frank. I'm.
No. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
I know I'm not supposed to be here, and the last time I was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be, I ended up getting Dr. Key in a lot of trouble. So,
kid, what do you want right now? I could talk to Walnuts, and we'll figure something out. Or I could take you somewhere else. Okay? Those are your options in front of you. Which of those options do you want to go with?
Can you just talk to Mr. Walnuts? I'll figure it out here.
Yeah.
I
can do that. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go drive 2.5 hours back into town to talk.
I'm really sorry.
To Wally.
I'm really, really sorry.
Sure, it's not a problem. And you could tell, like, he's a little annoyed.
Yeah.
You can tell he's kind of annoyed.
Yeah.
And so he's like, all right, you need anything else? Good on food?
No, I'm good on food. There's a few books that I need from the library, but I'll figure out a different way to get them. I don't want you to drive in and then drive out.
Kid, can you do me a favor? I'm driving 5 hours today in the snow for you, so I think you can do me a favor in return. How's that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can you call Dr. Key, please? And just have a little conversation with her. Let her know where you're at. She keeps asking. I don't feel right to say where you're at because you didn't tell me I could. But first, she's could probably use your help. She's rubbing freaking oil up and down on Mr. Price for some reason. I don't understand it. She got fired from a job.
She got fired?
Yeah, she got fired. Kid, I'm more than happy to help, but I do work for Mrs. Winston Rogers. She does have tasks that I do attend to. So 5 hours out of my day coming and going, usually gotta be a little bit more, something a little bit more hefty.
I know, I'm sorry. Like I said, I wouldn't have called her if it didn't feel important.
You know, you're absolutely right to call me. That is the absolute right thing to do. That was the correct thing to do. Get me to come on out here to tell me something you could have told me over the phone. Hey, live and learn. Everyone's under a little bit of stress. It's fine. But yeah, call her, talk to her, figure something out. Get your head back in the game. All right.
time to go talk to a gangster. And he like turns around and he starts walking out of the hangar. Okay. Anybody else doing some beats?
I got one more I'd like to do.
All right, Will, go for it.
Of course, after the whole thing with Frank, Will would call Dr. Key and try to set up an appointment with her.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll schedule something with you.
Yeah. Would it be like at your apartment? You don't have an office anymore, right? Not to rub that in or
Wow.
anything, but where would this
So you
be
don't have a
at?
job
Where would he
either.
meet you?
You just got fired too.
Depending on where it is,
Still doesn't-
it would either be like a restaurant or something, or like a coffee shop.
Okay, yeah.
Unless you indicate you need it to be more private.
No, he wouldn't. But he would show up with a waxcloth bundle again, a little bit smaller this time, missing a few books, and you'd see him sitting at the table, and he'd order coffee for both of you or whatever. And so, Dr. Key, I was talking with Frank, and he suggested I should talk to you since you're like the intellectual reader type sort. I got some books here. And I'm looking to sell them if able, but if they're important, I would feel better if you would look over them, just to make sure there's nothing valuable. Could you give them they're called Revelations of Glaki. Does that mean anything to you?
Off the top of my head, no, but these are the books.
That's a good sign. That means they
from
don't
the
mean anything.
island,
Well,
right?
well, why don't you give me a library test? You might actually know something about them off the top of your head.
Okay.
A libraries or a cult. I'll take either.
I'll do library. 1.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
No, I can't sell.
Okay. You have very much heard of the revelations of Glaki or Glaki. It's the pronunciation is unclear. You would know that they are a series of books, presumably from the 19th century, you think? And there are there are multiple volumes. You probably have seen them before. It's possible Oren Library might have the book, but they only have volumes 1 through 9. 1 through 9, they were published in 1865. Matterhorn Press of Highgate in London. But there are rumors that you would know, Beverly, that there were also three more volumes, 10, 11, and 12, that are not part of the commonly, common is the wrong word for it. These are very rare books, but in the sense that a library or a collector would have them, they would have volumes 1 to 9. Volumes 10 to 12 are more, they're more of kind of like an urban legend, so to speak, amongst various antiquarians and librarians and such. Whether they exist, there's rumors that the editor Percy Smallbeam did in fact produce 12 volumes, but for reasons unknown, 3 of those volumes are not found. He, however, Will, has 12 volumes.
Oh, these are important.
Well, like
I will
important
need-
or like rare? Like they don't mean anything for like our mission or whatever, right?
Until I read them, I couldn't tell you for sure.
Okay. But finding a buyer will take time anyways, right? You said they're rare? How rare?
We're not selling these.
Less than 200 published, Bev, you would know. And as far as, again, crit success, I'm just going to give you everything. You would know that it's the only book ever published by Matterhorn Press. The only book ever. Maybe you read a review in the back pages of like a London Times publication. The reviewer kind of alluded to the publisher and the editor. They were a member of some kind of ghost club of Cambridge University. And the review specifically said that the revelations could have been written by spirits of the publisher's acquaintance, for only those dead and with half their brains rotted away could find anything of value in its torrent of drivel.
It's a very very scathing review.
Okay. And she just stresses that it's important that we review this, and she like, you have never seen, you've seen Beverly like stressed out and like injured before and such, but like you've never seen such frantic, almost excitement in her eyes at the thought of reading this and digging into the books.
And
The
your
knowledge-
excitement is very much contagious to Will, but for a very different reason. He's very excited about these books now, too. Do you think I got some blood on him. I couldn't help it. I was bleeding out. But do you think that's going to like lower the resale value?
I'll see if I resale.
Well, you can read them first, but yeah, then we sell them. Once you've read them, you study it, and then we sell it. And by the way, I don't have any contacts here in New England. Do you know anyone who's buying books?
I mean, the university. I'm a professor. I don't.
Right, exactly.
So-
You got the hookup. So you could get us the best deal, right? So you mind putting some feelers out, put me in contact with people? I'll do the negotiation. You don't have to be involved in it, like paperwork reasons, but I'll make sure you get your cut.
Just let's focus on reading it and learning and seeing if any of this can deal with those.
That'll happen. These things take time. You can't push them because then you don't get the best price. If you're in a rush, you get a bad price. So you got plenty of time to read. Don't worry about that. But we can get the ball rolling.
I do think that these should go to Lanfear in the library of Miskatonic.
Lanfear, who's he?
He is the head of the library division.
That means he's in charge of like buying, right? Purchasing?
Yeah.
Well, cool. Put me in contact with him.
We'll see. This. I will speak to him, but. Do you have any more books? I thought you guys grabbed more from the library.
I left him with Frank for safekeeping.
Okay. Can you get them from Frank and bring them to me, or should I reach out to Frank, or
You go ahead, reach out to him. Yeah, more efficient that way. Be more direct. Because then I'm reaching out to him, then I'm reaching out to you, and then like
it's gonna
we're
also
just
take
sending
me
messages,
time
playing.
to clean these books of your blood.
Well, they're in the like slipcase, like they're a volume together, so like they're somewhat protected, right?
No, this will take effort.
Well,
I
it
don't
gives them
know.
character.
Have you ever
100
been-
years from now,
no.
people will be excited to see that blood.
Obviously, you have never taken care of restoration and preservation of books, and
No, I'm more
They
in
can-
acquisitions.
they're. I see, and like you can see, sort of like a brief flash of distaste across her face, but then it kind of flashes because so far you've requisised for her, so she's okay with it at this time.
All right.
Just-
Yeah, it sounds like we're gonna make a good
You
bit of money.
have received permission from Janet Winston Rogers, correct?
This is an off the books thing. This is a little side project.
That's not something that
I never signed a
wish-
contract with her saying that she'd
Sure.
get everything that I pick up. This is just a little. It's a memento from our time in Bangkok.
I know you're newer to our group, but I really am worried that you don't understand truly what we're learning and what we're trying to stop. This isn't about
Dr. Key, I took
This
a
isn't-
machete to my arm. I had rope burns that cut down to the muscle. I was hit by a car. Okay, I understand the stakes here. And I'm just saying that we might as well get paid as well. Because
but
the
you
checks from Winston
understand-
Rogers, sure, she paid for my apartment. But I'm paying groceries out of my own pocket here. Like, where is this money coming in?
You understand the stakes to us ourselves, but have you thought of the bigger picture? You haven't.
Dr. Key, there's
really
not much bigger
seen-
picture outside of myself.
Mm,
If I'm dead, it's not going to matter.
so you only care for yourself.
I'm not saying I only care for myself, but, I got to look after me because no one else will.
But without the hope that others would do the same for you, that you would do the same for them, then do you truly see the scope of trying to protect mankind?
Dr. Key, I was out there putting my life out on the line for you, for Patrick, for Shyma, for Marie. I'm not saying I'm not willing to risk my neck for y'all, and I hope that you'd be willing to risk your neck for me. But at the end of the day, I'm the only one that really looks out for me. Anyways, you go ahead, you take these, you start putting the feelers out, you start reading them. What was the Leavner? Fielder.
Yeah. And she just kind of like leaves it at that.
Head of Miskatonic. I'll reach out to him myself.
Not the head of Miskatonic. The library.
The library. Yeah, of course. I know what I'm doing.
Yes, okay. He's very academic. Please stay in formal channels.
Will do.
Okay. Fan out of that. Other bits. Anyone have any other beats or scenes they want to do? Melissa, you're nodding.
Yeah, so Marie did, and it's up to whoever else wants to join or not. Marie did want to like keep an eye on Water Street and see if she could kind of gather some intel about this nectar selling that's happening.
Do you try to get any assistance from this from your fellow investigators?
Yeah, I would definitely reach out to folks and see who's recovered. Like Patrick, she knew didn't have a major wound, so Patrick would probably be Marie's first call.
Marie's been asking about this, Dr. Key. There's some drug business to attend to.
Okay.
So if your ritual here is done, I'm out of here.
So Bev's just like everywhere right now. So we'll say like Bev's like rubbing this. I mean, this is like
I'm reading.
This is all over the course of several weeks. We're very loose with timing.
I've done a lot so far.
Yeah. So first, like Bev gets a phone call and she's on the phone and rubbing Patrick down with oil, and then Patrick gets a phone call and then he's on the phone with Marie and he's getting rubbed down with oil. Sounds really strange when you say it that way, but that's what happened. Okay.
At one point, Patrick and I are sharing the phone as we're rubbing Patrick with oil.
It's just kind of like you almost drop it because there's oil everywhere. You just can't get these out of here. Okay. All right. So you two head down to Water Street, which is a very long street. Covers a lot of different ground. There are places that appear to be like right on the edge of the water, like they kind of back up probably for shipping, like lumber mills and stuff like that. And you can definitely tell that it has like an industrial feel, but there's the sense of decay. There's a sense of some of these places have been abandoned. There's definitely, you get the vibe that this is a place that is not doing particularly well. It's 1938 or 1937, excuse me. And you also know Marie probably from your time around Fish Street, around the tattoo parlor. There's these various bridges and stuff where people congregate, and there's these some diners and such. So you kind of have a general idea of the layout. So let me just ask the two of you, like, what is your strategy for trying to investigate and extract information about these dealers?
Marie, you said Nancy, pick up something here. I could go down myself. Maybe I can buy it.
And so are we face to face at this point, Patrick?
Yeah.
Okay. So Marie's trying out her disguise stuff. So like Marie tells Patrick where to meet. And so they come up with like an intersection that they're meeting. But you see that Marie comes up and she's got like a very worn like men's jacket and pants. And she has, kind of like a men's hat on. So she's kind of trying out kind of this kind of new kind of disguise strategies that she's got, because she wants to sort of look like a down on her luck guy that might be trying to score some drugs.
Marie, I can spot you from a mile away. just going off the scale, like in the notes, it says it only works on strangers, like a specific person face to face. Like, you immediately know. So
yeah. Okay. So, Marie, you show up. You immediately get outed by Patrick right there on the corner, probably around the corner from maybe you meet at a diner next to the tattoo parlor, just so like you have somewhere to meet and
Sure.
like
Yeah.
that little exchange happened. Maybe it's later in the night or later in the day. Nighttime is upon us. It's probably the better time to go searching for this. Very cold out.
Yep.
Not a ton of people out and about, but there are some. This isn't like you're in a neighborhood that, again, that is a little bit. It's kind of on the decline, but nonetheless still has some people and still has some businesses, some markets, some shops. So, what do we think? Is someone going to try to just go around and score? Is that the idea?
You came in disguise, Marie. Might as well be you.
All right, that's the plan. I'll want to see if I can kind of chat up anyone that seems like they might be some guys that are hanging around who look like they might be carrying.
Okay. All right. Give me a spot hidden test, I guess, to try to, as you're walking around and just seeing if you can spot a drug dealer, unless you have some other.
Hey, you Holden? Hey, you Holden?
Hey, we got drugs around here? Hey,
Cocaine?
Cocaine? Are you buying or selling? It's like when you go to like a sporting event and someone's literally like just scalping tickets like right there in front of you.
Nectar.
Like, this is
Get
supposed to
your
be legal.
nectar.
Nectar here. Nectar. Buy 2, get 1 free. Do your special. Kick off your 1937 with a smooth ride. All right.
So I rolled a 73 and my spot hidden is a 72. So I'm going to spend the 1 luck to get that to a success.
Okay. As the two of you are wandering around a bit, you again, there's not a ton of people on the streets, but you do notice multiple times over the course of like an hour, a group of folks sort of dip into what looks like an old abandoned mill. And then they leave shortly thereafter. And then you see it again, and then they leave again. So you see people constantly coming and going from what otherwise looks like a completely dark, covered in snow, abandoned mill along the water. You get the sense that these people are coming and going. It makes no sense. Why would anyone possibly go? And you also kind of see that as they leave, like they're kind of giddy, and like the people, like if you see various couples, like they're huddling up just a little bit more involved than before. You can see a hand kind of sort of drift to one side of the body that wasn't doing before, that kind of thing.
And Marie will elbow Patrick. Patrick, that seems like there's no reason for anyone to go inside of there. No?
Well, there's a reason for us. Let's get in there.
Okay.
All right.
Now, are you going in there to pretend to be people wanting to buy, in which would require no stealth tests, but maybe a disguise test for Marie? Or are you trying to sneak in there and potentially catch people unawares, which would then require a stealth test?
Go in there to buy. We'll be face to face.
Okay. Yeah. The two of you go inside. And I mean, no, I think no, Murray, you don't have to do disguises. That's fine. Because
okay.
I mean, I don't really think it would necessarily. I guess you could go ahead, give us a disguise test just for future reference in case maybe they spot you later or something.
Okay, let me look this up. Okay, so I spent 10 luck points to get a bonus die to my disguise.
Okay, you're using which you've learned from Valentina's saga.
Yeah,
Bearded lady.
Okay, that's gonna put me down to 23 luck to get a bonus die on this.
You're
He's already regretting this talent.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Okay.
And then if someone is trying to detect the disguise, their spot hidden or psychology is raised to hard.
Okay.
Oh! Wow, I regret this so much. So very much.
Could have just sent the cat in to get some for you. Comes out.
I
A
rolled
couple little baggies, vials in their teeth hanging down. Clarabelle
also
just like-
pickpocketed someone, got some money
Yeah.
for you.
Then like Clarabelle drops him off and just heads off into an alley. You know, to do some stuff. Marie, what did you roll?
So my disguise is 25, and I
Okay.
rolled 2, not 1, but 2 82s. So
Okay.
bonus die did me jack shit.
Okay. I don't think it's necessarily going to affect this particular moment. Okay. Because they don't necessarily know who you are. But if, on the off chance that they might see you later, it might be more likely for them to recognize you later because you failed to disguise your look right now as well as you had hoped. As you go in, you guys, you see 3 folks. Trench coats, frayed cuffs. You can see 2 big, like kind of beefy looking guys kind of standing in like out in front, which you would imagine was probably a managerial office. And then you can see inside the managerial office, there is kind of a slender, older looking woman, kind of curly gray hair. They all have, again, big coats on. There's a barrel that has got a fire brewing from it that they're using for warmth. And you can see that the 2 big guys are kind of smoking cigarettes, and like one of them's smoking a cigarette. The other one's kind of fidgeting what looks like with like a matchstick, just kind of doing this little thing with his fingers, kind of sliding over one to the next and then bring it back again. And they're frequently kind of glancing over. And then as you 2 approach, he kind of grabs the matchstick and he kind of nods in your direction. And you see the other one who is smoking just lets the cigarette stay in their mouth and kind of walks up to you. And he's like, go ahead and get your arms up, please. Just take a little quick look if you don't mind. No weapons, stuff like that.
Put him up. I'm not carrying anything.
And he's kind of
Very well as well.
tapping here and there. Beg your pardon, ma'am. Beg your pardon. Beg your pardon. And then, yeah, they're clean. And you can see as he calls back, the woman gets up from where she was sitting and she comes back out. And she comes like to the door, passing by the one that had the matchstick, who is eyeing the 2 of you like with these very very hawkish looking eyes, like just really zooming in, paying attention for any strange movements. And she comes out, and you can tell that she's you probably peg her in her 60s maybe or so. She said, "Well, hello there. You both look like a beautiful couple. Looking to have a little extra fun tonight in the New Year? Is that what it is?"
Yeah, it's been a rough early year. You got anything?
Oh, we do. Got a little something special from out west. You consider you 2 yourselves experimental? You like to have a little fun? She's like looking at both of you. Man after my own heart. You better be careful, lady. I might swoop in and take them from you. So,
And she just laughs and kind of hooks her arm.
okay. Touchy. All right. And so she opens up the bag, and you can see inside she has like these little cartons, and in them are vials, tons of them. You can see there's probably at least 3 dozen in here. A couple rows are empty. And she's like, "Well, first time? It's a new special drug."
Seems familiar.
Smellier? What did you just say, sweetheart?
That it seems familiar.
Seems familiar. Oh, you okay? You had him
Said that
before.
west. Yeah, I've been there.
Comes out of Los Angeles. It's they call it nectar, honey of the gods, or something. I don't really know why, but all natural. They say nothing in here, no addictive qualities whatsoever.
But what does it do then? And she's like, if I'm kind of giving you money, what am I getting for it?
It makes you feel real good. Real good. And whatever the 2 of you normally do behind closed doors, well, I'll tell you that it's going to be way more fun tonight. And she kind of gives you like this grin. She's got this like really bright red lipstick.
as she does so. And you can see that she's got a mole like right above her lip that's been like extra colored, and she's like leaning down as she grins.
Well, give us it.
There's an exchange here. You bring some money, you give that over to one of my sons here, and then we'll go ahead and make the arrangement.
I'll pass him some money.
Okay.
Water
Pass
cash.
over some. Okay, and she'll give you 2 vials. Pleasure doing business with you. Happy New Year. Tell your friends.
Happy New Year to you.
And then
While
Okay.
Patrick is kind of doing most of the talking, Marie wants to try to look at sort of like the crates that she's kind of pulling these vials out of, and she wants to kind of look for any like markings or anything that might be a identification of some kind.
what do you mean, like for her, for who she is, or just for
No,
where these things are
no.
from? They have
Yeah,
the
like-
look. They have the look of Los Angeles nectar. They definitely have the vial kind. Like you've seen the vial kind before. It definitely has that familiarity to it. But I would say there's no real other labels or anything like that that probably would get your attention.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
And
they-
Marie will just act interested, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is. Have you? We were traveling. Have you been here long? Is this new?
Me?
New for 37?
Do I not sound like I'm from Arkham?
Oh, just we've lived here for a long time, and we've never heard of such a thing. Just did you?
Oh,
just
I
come?
told you, it's new for the new year. It's something a little special.
That's a long way from out west. Did you say LA? Did I hear that right?
Well, that's where this is from, but it's sweeping the country, my dear. Don't worry about it. Pretty soon,
What?
from what I hear, it might even be going international.
That's so interesting. And you've sold this other places other than LA?
Why are you asking so many questions? Take your little boy toy here, scurry on back, take a few sips, and then just let what happens, because it's going to be fun. Because if you continue to ask questions, then you're going to make me nervous, and my boys here just do not like it when I get nervous. Do you, boys? And they're like, no, Mom, we don't. I'm like, you see? No. You two seem like a sweet couple. An absolutely sweet couple. So, let's not make any more awkwardness tonight, shall we? You two have fun.
Toodaloo.
And she's like, gives you a nice big smile, and her eyes kind of linger on Marie. And then do you just go, Marie, or do you
Yeah.
throw a
Marie will
haymaker,
just
or what do you do?
no, Marie will, kind of, she had kind of looped her hand around Patrick's arm, and so she'll just, as he turns around, she'll follow and
Okay.
like act like she's interested in like looking at this and like, oh, this is going to be so much fun.
Okay. So the two of you leave the mill. They don't stop you. You have these 2 vials of what you would know are nectar. Patrick, I would say you're probably feeling a little bit, because if I recall correctly, you had an involuntary
some of this.
taste of this.
Mm.
Yeah. And you're probably feeling a little bit like your hands might be shakier a little bit. You're kind of getting like the memories of what happened. It's been a little while. Like it's been a couple months, I think, since you had it, but it's nonetheless probably there somewhere underneath it all.
Pass the files to Marie. You're right. It's made its way to Arkham.
Quite concerning. We may want to try to gather some additional information about their distribution. This is very concerning. I thought perhaps some damage had been done.
We'll just have to let Janet know. It's in the area.
Yes, indeed. Very, very good point.
Okay. So, two of you depart. You now have a sample of nectar in the area. Last call for anything before we say we finally do, in fact, have that meeting with Janet. All right.
Good.
Okay.
Shyma very specifically does not call Dorothy.
Okay. All right.
Do we need to roleplay that?
Okay. Just
And
she's just staring at the phone.
Pretty much. She's agonizing over it and then decides, you know what?
Okay.
No.
I'll tell you this: since you are been spending your time reading, I'm going to share with you the rest of Savitry's document. I'll make it so that everyone can see it too, because there is quite a bit. So let me go ahead and bring it up. So, Shyma, over the course of maybe the next week or so, before you are eventually summoned before Janet Winston Rogers, you are able to kind of go through and kind of glean a variety of pages. And you can see, as we've already mentioned, there is an entries on Azathoth and the Arlathotep. But you also see Shub-Niggurath and Sithogua and Yog-Sothoth and Golgoroth and Cthulhu and Gla-Aki and Atlach-Nacha and Ihort. So there's a lot of text, basically. Not sure how you guys want to do this. Like, we could take turn. I mean, there's a lot of text, and so I don't know if you all want to just like read it on your own time, or if you wanted to read it for stream, we could maybe take turns. But there's a lot of text. But to summarize, actually, let's just do this. I'll summarize essentially what we have, and then you all can kind of read it in greater depth. But what you basically see, Shyma, and you glean from that, is that she has collected and identified 10 deities, mythos deities, that she knows from her research, that she has, to varying degrees of certainty, disqualified possibly, although some she's not 100% certain, as being the identity of whoever this creature is. You all remember back to your interview with Edgar Job back in Savannah, where he mentioned that creatures like this have all sorts of names. There's epithets that she has sort of pieced together through her research, like with Azathoth, the blind idiot god, the Daemon Sultan, Nyarlathotep, like Shyma was saying, the black man, crawling chaos. Shub-Niggurath is known as like the black goat of the woods, or the goat with 1,000 young, or the All-Mother. You can tell that that Savitry was very interested by the fact that 1,000 young, 1,000 mouths, but ultimately she wasn't really too confident that Shub-Niggurath was a good candidate, because it seems to deal more with offspring. Whereas even though like nectar certainly facilitates a kind of intercourse, that's only the Los Angeles brand. Like the Bangkok version of nectar has a far different effect. Sithogua is also known as like the sleeper of Nkai, the father of night, the seal of black stars. She seemed to be fairly thought this was a promising candidate for a while, because like it was a very slothful and gluttonous creature, and the idea of 1,000 mouths devouring things might dovetail well with the concept of gluttony. But she also thought that there was, like, from what she was able to find in the research, the creatures themselves were, like, the creature itself was sort of lacking in calculation, didn't seem devious enough to be something that should take on the title of the liar from beyond or whatever. Yog-Sothoth was a harder one for her to sort of pin down, but it was basically a creature that's all-knowing. So if you're all-knowing, what's the point of lies? You know everything, so why bother? Golgoroth, which is a name that you all have heard before, and is also one of the ones that has been put forward as who the group was summoning, and she seems to be very suspicious of that. She says that some known epithets, the Forgotten Old One, the God of the Black Stone, that is some sort of a deity of forbidden worship, but also she kind of scoffs at that. Like they're all supposed to be forbidden to some degree or the other, but like it was all about silence. And when you, in the tongue of lies, she refers to it as is not silent. Cthulhu she references as being like the great dreamer or him who lies dreaming, and uses dreams as a way to drive people mad. But she also questions whether what she has been seeing and what others in the cult have seen are dreams or prophecy, that kind of thing. And then Glaaki shows up, Lord of Dead Dreams, Onyet Koa. There's not a whole lot here, but it was described as kind of a luminous entity, and contradictorily also like domain over the dead and decay, which seems to be almost contradictory. But then some of the language of her writing, you can tell there's a defensiveness that crops up because it talks about Glaaki's thralls and how it makes thralls out of its followers, and she took issue. Thrall is slave, and we are not slaves. And then she mentions if my teams could just acquire the missing volume, and then that secondary note like loops in afterwards and say they have. Ahlak Naka is the spider god, spinner in darkness. References this being a promising candidate because there's a metaphorical connection between the spinning of lies, the spinning of webs, and some kind of grand deception. She kind of go like as this entry, you can see that she kind of spins off talking about Ramon, how Ramon never shared like what that grand deception was, and never shared with anybody unless it served his purpose. She also mentions heirs in this case and wonders what has become of him, because she doesn't even think that folks like Samson and heirs were let in on whatever secrets Ramon was keeping closer and closer to his chest. She mentions at one point that the webs that are commonly associated with this creature could be bridges to other dimensions, and she idly wonders, like, are the mouths themselves? Do they transport somewhere, right? Ihort she also brings up as the pale beast, the god of the labyrinth. It's a writhing and egg-laying creature apparently, and she wonders if maybe all of the mouths are for different eggs, or if because it's egg-laying it needs food for hunger or whatever. But she's not entirely sure. She also, in her research, it suggested that entity was about transactions, bargaining, right? And how it wasn't that seemed to kind of be a little bit different from lying and deception. Bargaining and deception don't seem to be the same thing. And so she also starts wondering whether the labyrinths that this creature is known for, the intestines, she like makes a little side note. As you can see periodically, she makes these weird little marginalias. So Shyma, what you basically have are her innermost thoughts and reflections on these 10 deities that have shown up in various literatures and occult and forbidden tomes, or have been followed or attempted to be venerated by various cults that she was able to get their texts from. Some of these might also have just popped up in certain cultures, like anthropologically, folklore, and like in all of these, to one degree or the other, she has like dismissed. Some she has dismissed with great confidence, others less so. But at no point do you get the feeling, Shyma, that she's ever come to a conclusion with confidence about who those epithets are truly belonging to, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
I spent a lot of time today working on this.
That's
very cool
fucking
handouts.
Amazing.
I should have been doing other things, but I spent a lot of time on this.
Well, I'm very happy that you spent time on that.
They look awesome.
So that's just a summary. You guys can read a little bit more and look at a little bit more and such. But that's essentially the broad overview that Shyma would have gleaned. And then mechanically, Shyma, I'm going to go ahead and say let's do your effects. So I'm giving this is the pour over effect basically. So you were reading her journals. Okay, so this is going to end up being, first of all, you take a loss of 2 sanity, no roll, you just lose it. However, You gain +1 in Cthulhu Mythos and +2 in Occult.
Okay. Okay.
And that is the mechanical benefit in addition to the informational benefit.
I would have also liked to spend the time to, like Walnuts had said, like just keep an eye out if there was anything weird. Was there anything weird that needed reporting? That if there wasn't.
At the hangar, you mean?
Yeah. So just following his instruction. Basically.
There were times in the middle of the night when you were awoken to the sounds of your mouth screaming. There were times in the middle of the night in the worst parts of the blizzard where like it felt like the hangar's walls and ceiling were about to be ripped off. But at no point did you ever really see anyone trying to break in.
Okay.
But no,
Okay.
I would still say it probably was somewhat nerve-wracking being alone for so long, right?
Yeah.
But nothing overt.
She will call him and say that, she's been keeping an eye out, but she hasn't seen anything. She'll continue
Is
to
Walnuts?
keep an eye out.
Okay. So you call Mr. Walnuts. Shyma, where the hell are you?
I'm still the hair, but I've been more careful.
Shyma, you're supposed to meet with Miss Winston Rogers. You're supposed to be here already. If your team's already here,
I know. It's just
you need to get here. This is not negotiable. You can't stay in this woman's hangar, and when she calls, you come. What are you doing?
Oh, okay.
Okay, let me make a call. Let me see if I can get somebody in the area to drive you. I'll call you back. And I click. And then like he calls back shortly thereafter. And he's like, all right, there's going to be a truck coming for you in about 15 minutes. He doesn't know anything about the hand, so keep it wrapped, keep it quiet, whatever it is you got to do. This is just a farmer. That's all he is. And he's lending us a bit of assistance. Okay?
Okay.
Chop.
Thank you.
All right. Did you shower? Did you bathe?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And so like
She used the snow outside and did the best she could.
It's just like from the cold. And 15 minutes later, you see this beat up truck with like a flatbed in the back, and there's like this fella like,
Well, hello there. I was told to drive someone.
and he's got this like crooked face.
I can just sit in the flatbed. That's fine.
No, don't be silly. It's much too cold out for that. Go ahead and come up here.
And I'm gonna look at that. Is there a back seat?
That's a good idea. That's a good question. I don't know. I'm gonna roll a little die.
Yeah, because some
there's
trucks
not.
have only passenger coming to the front too, and some have like a back cab.
This one does not. It's cab and it's flatbed.
Okay. So she's gonna get inside and hold her hand like this, so it's as far away from him as possible.
Well, let's get going then, shall we? And he like kind of like backs that thing up. If you get a little cold, take a little sip of that.
And he kind of points down at this thermos that's just sitting like right in the middle between you.
It'll warm you up right quick.
He immediately takes a drink without even checking what it is, because she's so fucking cold.
It is moonshine. And so like as you take a little sip of it,
Exactly. Oh, easy now. Easy now. You'll go blind drinking that fast. We wouldn't want that, would we?
This is really good.
Well, I made it myself, so thank you. Me and the missus did, that is. What are you doing up here all by yourself?
I'm just, I was kind of sick, and I just needed to be away from some people.
Yeah. I had an uncle like that. He used to get sick all the time. Wandered off by himself. Anyhow, I'm supposed to take you to the hotel, Miskatonic.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know this is a favor you're doing for Miss Walnut, so thank you.
Walnuts, huh? Yeah, I guess you could say it's a favor. And he just like has that attitude the whole hour and a half drive that it takes to get you to the hotel.
Oh, good gracious.
Yeah. Just kind of like his head just like not even moving. And if you say something, it'll like his whole body will turn towards you. Yeah. This is
I was entirely too anxious about the fucking hand to make any conversation.
Okay. And eventually you make it to Miskatonic University, safe and sound. Do you want me to wait for you and drive you back?
Would you mind?
Not at all.
Okay, thank you.
I'll be here when you're ready.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, I didn't catch his name in meta, but I would have definitely asked.
His name? You want to know his name? Okay. So, hang on. I wrote it down. Let me pull it up. Okay. So, me? My name's Brandon.
Okay, Brandon. Nice to
You
meet you.
can call me
I'm
Brandon.
Shyma. Okay, I will call you Brandon. You can call me Shyma. I'm Shyma.
All right. You have a fun time in there. I'll be out here.
Okay, thank you. She kind of hurries off.
Okay.
And just, like her, like she definitely doesn't look super, like she looks like shit. And like the coat she's got on is this like army surplus coat.
Okay. So you go into the hotel, like you get some trouble at first, but then when your name as the people are stopping you, eventually like Walnuts will come down and it'd be like he'll kind of wave it off, and then he'll kind of escort up. So I'm just gonna jump then. All of you are eventually brought up into this chamber you've been in before. Beautiful, kind of. It could definitely be used as a dining room. Definitely could be used as a conference room. But you're led inside, and you can see that there's coffee, there's tea, there's plenty of things. You sit down. Some of you might not have seen each other for quite some time. I'll say it's probably been like in the neighborhood of 3 to 4 weeks since you guys have been back, something like that. And it's just the four of you for a little while. Frank will come in, and then he'll kind of give Will a little bit of a dirty look, and then sit as far away from Will as possible. And then every now and then you all hear as Patrick's arm kind of kicks up. And then eventually Shyma comes in. And Shyma's dressed in like kind of used clothing, army fatigues, like you were saying, just like old stuff, right? And like Walnuts kind of gushes her in. She's like, for Christ's sake, get some food in you, for crying out loud. He's like kind of like whispering. And then the other door opens right as that's happening, and in walks Janet Winston Rogers. And she is in all her state, professional, elegant, beautiful, kind of maroon colored dress. Not so much a dress, but like more like a long skirt, thick stockings, and you can see she has this kind of coat with definitely a dead animal being used as a collar of some kind. It's one of those. Well, hello there. Thank you all for coming and seeing me. It's been quite some time. Some of you look far worse than when we last met. And she walks right over to you. So you're the one who stole things from my father, are you now? And then she like looks down at you as if she's waiting for an explanation.
But you were just too cowardly to sit around and take your medicine, were you? You had to run away and leave it to Frank. Is that... I'm sorry, did a cat get your tongue?
Stealing... We didn't know they were yours.
Oh, I see. Well, that makes it so much better. Thank you for clearing me that up. I'm sure no one has ever used that excuse before.
She looks around, the rest of you.
May not be an original excuse, but it is the truth.
Oh, is it now? Well, how wonderful. Dr. Key, I'm so very sorry. I wrote a letter on your behalf. Fortunately, it seems the politics were in play, but if you need another letter of recommendation for a different university, I'd be more than happy to provide it. When all of our business is over, of course.
Gives us more time to research now, at least.
And then she'll look over to like Marie.
Miss Wynn, you look different. Have you changed your hair somehow?
Yes, I've taken up a new craft to try to help us in the work that we're doing.
I see. Well, at least someone has been using their time productively. Miss Oberon, oh dear, you look terrible. I've been told you've been having trouble showering or bathing or some such. Anyhow,
Patrick. And then she'll just like go over, pour herself a little cup of coffee, and then she'll sit down.
Now, tell me about this business in Bangkok. I heard, Mr. Kearns has told me,
and she looks over him,
that things did not go smoothly. Is that why all of you look as though you're a few steps away from death?
Yes, yeah. They are well aware of our research into this organization. And,
I see.
We're anticipating
they were
our
just
arrival.
damn scrappy, to be honest.
It
They know how
actually
to throw a punch.
They've known who we are almost from the minute that we set off to Savannah, in fact.
That's very curious. Mr. Walnuts, it's very curious, wouldn't you say so?
He looks like suddenly as he's like next to Shyma and he's just like, sit down.
What's that? I said it's very curious. Miss Wynn here seems to imply that there might be some sort of breach in your security. That someone has let forth the identities of the very people I hired to investigate my father's business. What would you say to her?
And he kind of looks over at Marie with this like look. I can assure, ma'am, no.
And he's like, well, he's very speechless now, apparently. Usually he's just yapping away. He's got all these theories and philosophies that he want to talk about, but when you accuse him of one tiny bit of malpractice or incompetence, the man goes, oh, look at him. He's just tongue-tied and twisted.
Actually, Mr. Wallace says he really tries to take care of your holdings with a lot of integrity and a lot of it's very important that the things are safe for you.
I think what
That's well said, Miss Oberon. That's very well said indeed.
She just stirs her cup of coffee.
I think and Bev starts flipping through her notes. It was implied that they had someone keeping watch in Savannah. So when we arrived and started inquiring, that's what tipped them off. And so I don't believe it's a breach of Mr. Walnut's security.
Well, there you go. Mr. Walnuts, you are no longer under suspicion. Thank you very much for clearing that, Dr. Key. Now, what are the next steps? I understand that the winter has made travel very difficult. Mr. Kern says that the weather will likely not clear up for a few weeks, but once it does, I want to be able to hit the proverbial ground running. I would like to know a little bit about your plans. What do you think you're going to be investigating next? Where, who, why, and how?
One important bit of information, just so you're aware, is that this very nectar that we have been chasing all over the world is being sold just down on Water Street.
She stopped stirring. Is it now?
And
Mr.
Marie will
Walnuts?
pull out, and she has she has the vials that she and Patrick purchased, and she also has the vials that she had confiscated from Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
And so she kind of like sets them out. All of these were purchased here in Arkham.
And Mr. Walnuts will come over. He'll grab it. So, whereabouts on Walnut Street? Whereabouts on Water Street? I'm very verklempt. Whereabouts on Water Street you talking about? What are we talking?
And Marie will sort of look to Patrick to confirm like the intersection and the abandoned building that they had gone into.
Okay. So just describe it like an abandoned mill, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, okay.
It seemed to be a woman and her sons that were in charge of local distribution.
We talking children?
No, she appeared to be in her 60s and her 2 grown sons.
Okay. Well, I'll get someone on it. Don't worry. I will get someone on it. Very, very good. See that you do. Do you feel more comfortable now? We are going to handle it here on the home front. What other news is there to debrief me, shall we say?
The doctor.
Well, don't all of you speak up at once? Yes, Patrick.
I just gotta say, the doctor you recommended did miracle work. I feel right in bed.
Yes, I've heard the reports from Dr. Mulek. He says you've been making great progress. I'm very proud of you, Patrick. Very proud indeed.
Other than that, we've got some places and people of interest.
Mm-hmm.
So that Ayers fella has been traveling.
I see.
It's also Malta distributing over there this drug.
Interesting.
And then in Bangkok, we discovered in one of the journals of Savitri, one of the heads of distribution there, she mentioned in Mexico, Merida, okay, there's a large expedition that Trammell had sent his lieutenant to. That should probably be looked into.
You want to return to Mexico? I see.
I would propose that we do return to Mexico. It's a small little village called Merida, and there are some ruins there. A man named Sancho Dominguez seems to be heading that expedition, and it seems like a good follow-up from what I've learned about Mexico City. It seems like the job was half finished, so it'd be time to finish it.
It's a very interesting point. Of course, last time this group was in Mexico, not all returned.
And multiple of us did spend some time behind bars with the local authorities on suspicion of murder, so you can see why we were not keen to immediately finish this job. As you state, it is half done, Mr. Soy.
I meant no slight. I'm just saying that it's time to finish.
Have you received any communication, Miss Winston, from Mexico?
What sort of communication are you referring to?
I was just, in case the local police departments had reached out to you at all or anything to that regards.
No one is reaching to me. And she looks over to Walnuts and he kind of nods to confirm. No, nothing has got to my ear.
Okay.
We did hear that a few of their personnel were tragically gone missing. I presume that you're doing, of course. But aside from that, no. Is that a good thing? I would think so. Seems
I would agree.
Seems you have managed to cover your tracks admirably so. And all it took is one retired pastor. Perhaps the price for such anonymity will be less in Merida. Or Malta. Wherever it is you choose to go. Now, where is it that you are headed next?
I vote for Malta.
I see. Malta. Very
I know you,
beautiful
you
place.
You guys are suggesting Merda, but what is there really?
There are ruins that are still being worshipped at.
They believe that they'll be able to summon the god there.
Summoning.
It did seem very important, and I think we did want to go there, but the heat was just a bit too much.
Absolutely. The only reason we didn't before was because and she looks down. We just lost Pastor White.
I've gotten slightly better at disguises, and maybe that would help us a little bit enter with a little less notice.
So we're all going back in the jungle. Any of us survivalist? Will?
I've got quite a bit of experience with ancient ruins and the like. I've been on a few archaeological expeditions.
You hear, and you look over. There's Frank, coughing a little bit. Just doesn't say anything.
You coming down with something, Frank?
Yeah, I'm coming down with something. I'm coming down with a bunch of bullshit-itis is what I'm coming. Mr. Kearns, please, while you're at my table, please be cordial. And he's like, apologies. Mr. Sawyer, you are up to the task of leading this group of folk, at least through some jungle, was it?
I mean, getting through the jungle is going to be the easy part. Whatever the cult is stirring up, I feel like that'll be the dangerous part.
Well, I would agree. Now, you obviously do not have to decide right this moment, as the weather does not necessarily allow us to do much travel. However, I would very much like to know your plans as soon as you make them. So, I come to learn that you all have been spending a significant amount of time apart, and that's perfectly understandable. You have been in very close proximity to one another, and I'm sure you have loved ones and various tasks that you want to complete. Now, however, I think you all need to put your 5 heads together, and if you would like a 6th, Mr. Kearns can certainly oblige you. But I would like all of you to come up with some sort of plan for where we're going next. And once you have decided that, please contact me immediately. Mr. Kearns will make appropriate measures for travel. And if there are any additional resources that either I or he can provide, we can go ahead and do so. As for this business here in our backyard, Mr. Walnuts will be very, very thorough in his investigation. Will you not, Mr. Walnuts? And he's like nodding, yes, ma'am. You can see they're all just like very like Jenny thinking, yes, ma'am. Excellent. Is there anything else for me, for my attention?
Have you paid Walter a visit?
Have I paid Walter a visit? Yes, dear. I go and see my father every week.
There seems to be someone else. Someone else keeping a watch. Paid him a visit recently.
What do you mean?
Somebody watching at the cemetery. Maybe he's got some friends don't know of. Someone's even inscribed in his tombstones.
What does he look like? What did this person you saw? Describe him.
Describe a dark fellow with a fedora. Like cigarettes.
You saw a man in a fedora smoking a cigarette in Arkham in 1937. Let's see, that narrows it down to, approximately half the entire city. Patrick,
What was inscribed?
I described whatever I saw on as best I could.
Yeah. And so you describe, you would know it aligns similarly with some of like the warding kind of sigils that you saw, and that Shyma you even put on your father's right outside your father's bedroom, I think. So yeah, those types of things.
Is that how you designed his epitaph to be? His gravestone?
I did not design anything. A gravestone. Dr. Key, my father was a great man of some acclaim and some fortune. He is a man who's in his resting place deserves something of a bit greater grandeur than a simple headstone. And as for designing it, well, there were certain artists that he favored, and so those are the ones who did so. Now, are you saying that my father's My father's place of rest has been vandalized, Patrick. Is that what you are saying to me?
Dr. Key and Shyma are saying these are warding glyphs. Maybe not so much vandalized.
Very interesting. And a man in a fedora. That's all you have to go on?
That's all I have.
Well, Mr. Walnuts, you have an additional task for you and your crack team of security aficionados. Yes, ma'am. He's like, he takes his little book out and he's writing another note down. Got to do this.
He's like, well, these guys shut up. Like,
he's looking at Patrick and he's just like, so you said it was a man in a fedora. Okay. He writes it down. Okay. Wow.
Ma'am, one more thing, if I might. When we returned from Bangkok, we brought 2 victims from the sect down there, and you've been gracious enough to set them up here in Arkham. I've been checking in on them, just making sure that they settle in. And, you know, it's a very different culture, and they're still getting their feet. I'd appreciate it if you could send maybe Mr. Walnuts or someone else to just check on them every now and then while we're gone. Make sure that they're doing okay. One of them has a similar affliction as 2 of our team here.
Yes, you're talking about Miss Maitreyi and the grandmother, of course. I can assure you they will be tended to. As for the affliction, I see and hear, she winces as like one of them screeches. You still seem to be suffering from this. I don't mean to be indelicate, but this is not a way to traverse the world. You can hide away from it here, certainly. You can wrap your various bits of cloth and fabric and leather and feed it whatever it is that you want to feed it, but it still seems to be making quite a bit of an impression. Now, you've gotten lucky so far. You haven't had an incident in which you can't recover from it. But what happens when you're speaking with an individual down in Merida or across the water in Malta or wherever else you'll end up, and it starts to screech and they investigate it and it starts biting them? Well, then we're in a bit of a trouble. So the way I see it, Miss Oberon and Patrick, you are a bit of a liability currently. And I think it's about time you make some hard choices about whether or not you want to move forward. Because if you want to move forward, I don't want you to be a liability. You understand?
Understandable.
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. I'm glad we are all on the same page. We have a few weeks left now. Is there any other business to attend to?
May I speak with you privately after this meeting?
Privately? You want to speak with me privately? Is there some reason that you can't share whatever it is that you have to say to me in front of the rest of you?
It just feels better if it was private. It feels like the right thing to do, to have it be a private discussion.
I understand that, but look at it from my perspective. You are currently here within this room because you're investigating a series of secrets my father kept from me and my mother, secrets that have put myself and other people I care about in danger. My father died without revealing those secrets to me, and I am still having to deal with them. So I think you might imagine the complexity of my feelings towards the concepts of secrecy. I do not like them. You're asking me to move off into a separate meeting and potentially keep secrets not just from your friends, but from your business partners, from people who are going to have to trust you on the team. Do you want to keep secrets from them, Ms. Oberon?
She looks down fairly chastened. No, ma'am. I've been made aware that maybe you have resources to amputate, to perform amputations.
Ah, well, yes, we do. We have a few members of the medical profession who can take care of that for you without asking questions. It's amazing what a few dollars and coins provided into the right hands will do. But yes, we can take that we can take care of that for you safely, if that is what you wish.
The secondary part of that is if I amputate my hand, I probably can't be on a wrestling scholarship with the university anymore. So I might not be with the university anymore if we do that.
Are you under the impression that I have you on this team because you are a member of a wrestling team and you are a member of Miskatonic University? That is not why you're on this team.
Certainly the access to the library must be important.
Miss Oberon, I have a very significant fortune that's tied to my name. If I want to buy the library, I very much could. No, I can guarantee you, you are not here because you allow me access to the Orn library. I can get to that if I want to at any time I wish. No, you are here because Dr. Key, one of the foremost anthropological experts, said that you are capable and that you will bring a valued perspective to the investigations that are at hand. That is why you are here. Have those feelings changed, Dr. Key?
No, they've been proven true time and time again.
Well, there you have it,
Shyma's
Miss Oberon.
very capable.
You have nothing to concern yourself with. Now, and if you're saying that your wrestling team would no longer allow you because you were missing one of two hands, well, that sounds like the sort of thing that you would want to prove them wrong about, is it not?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear that.
Yes.
No. I'm sorry. A little louder, please.
It is, ma'am. Yes.
That's much better. I very much prefer you when you have confidence in you. She looks at the rest of you. Now, as I said, you have a few weeks. Use it wisely. Are there any more items that we should discuss?
No, ma'am.
Then I leave you to it. Please contact me when you understand your plans. She gets up. Mr. Walnut's with me, please. And he shuffles across, leaving the six of you in the room, because Frank is there still with you, staring at each other. And we're going to close down the session there as you all begin to figure out where you go next. And that's it.
Cool.
Awesome,
Okay.
awesome.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
Why does she not like me? What did I do to her?
You pissed off Frank. She
Yeah.
values her
Most
employees.
people.
It might have been.
She's
the
known
best.
Frank for several years at this point. Frank has become a member of her inner circle, it seems like. She has a great deal of trust with him, and you pissed him off.
And honestly, it was a complete misunderstanding, and I don't deserve any of it. And I'm just a saint.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Of course.
Okay. So in terms of where you guys are going next, we'll talk it out off stream. But we are going to be taking a break from Call of Cthulhu. We're going to be off for several weeks. We are still going to be playing a game. I think we're off probably the next 2 weeks, but we're going to be back in February, and we're going to be doing a short run of a different game that we'll talk about a little bit later when I have a confirmed startup date. But we're going to be doing that for a couple weeks. But we will be back probably sometime in March, I would guess, with more Call of Cthulhu. But we'll still be streaming on Saturdays. But this will also give me time to prep. So I have to prep a new location, and they haven't quite decided. We were going into it was funny. I asked it the other day, and then you guys said this, and then Long's like Malta. I'm like, well, shit. Now it's
I
now we're
thought
all
we
over
were
the-
decided. And
Those
then
are
Long
all
said
the
Malta.
choices. Look at that, Malta, Verida, da 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 da. So you guys should talk about it. You guys should talk about it and figure it out, and let me know as soon as you can, so I can start that prep. But that is that. Let's go ahead and then do some closing plugs. We'll start as we always do, Stephen, by throwing it to Maitreyi so she can tell us what she does on the internet.
I am Maitreyi plays games on YouTube, and I'm a system agnostic or multi-system content, but who loves that center the GM and player experience. So you should check it if you feel like checking that kind of thing out.
Fantastic. Links are in the stuff, descriptions and things. The stuff. Look at me. So check that out. All right, Steven, what you got going on?
I made my own Weird West tabletop RPG. It's pretty flippin' awesome. It's called Huckleberry, and we're dropping some new content on Tuesday, written by a fabulous person, almost on the screen right now, kind of covered by a book right now. Hey, there he is. We have our first standalone scenario dropping on Tuesday. If you want a notification, go to huckleberryrpg.com, sign up for the mailing list. You'll get an email as soon as it's out, and you can grab Jeff's scenario and see how awesome it is. It is amazing. It's a story of love and betrayal, and I'm super proud of it. I didn't have anything to do with it, but I'm very proud of it. I'm very happy to see it come out.
Awesome. I'm excited. I really liked it. It was fun to write. I said to Steven, I'm like, is it okay if I just ignore the horror stuff and just do a pure romance?
Pride and Prejudice,
he was like,
all the way.
He was like, okay. So I'm like, all right, that's what I'm going to do. No.
Do we have a title?
Yeah. What's the title?
Veils and Vengeance.
It's as if we were trying. Yeah. Okay. Anyhow.
Sense and Sensibility.
Yeah. So it takes place at a place called Pemberley. Let's just put it that way. So if you know what I'm saying, references. Okay. All right. As for us, what do we got going on? Next game, I think, is Monday. We're playing for some Otherscape. Tuesday, we're going to be doing some Perils and Princesses. We had to push back our start date a week because of some scheduling conflicts, but we should be back on Tuesday. Kipser is taking over for Steven because Steven ditched us. And so the rest of us stayed around, and we're going to keep playing games, and we're going to play some Perils and Princesses with Kipser running the game. Thursday next week, we got some more Swords of the Serpentine, which may be the finale of the first arc. We're getting really close to the end. And next Friday, we should have some Dragonbane. And yeah, that's what we got going on. We got some raid. We got to do a raid here. Who are we going to raid? I don't know why I'm asking you all. I'm going to go ahead and have to make that decision, aren't I?
Yep.
Let's see. Who you got up?
We got a couple options.
Let's do Infinite Monkey Tales. They've raided us. Let's raid them. Okay, so yeah, let's give them a raid. They're playing Delta Green. Even better reason. I love Delta Green. So let's go ahead and let's raid Infinite Monkey Tales. They got Delta Green going on. It's one of our faves. So have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for joining us. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
I'll be seeing you.